in me, below dexterity. Wait until they hear the chorus. Sooner or later, the dice land on the table. You know that's what fables are made of. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. This is a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Oh yeah, it's a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. It's critical, critical hit. Now it's wall to wall, watch your foes are falling, but it's time to pause, cause Mother Nature's calling. I'll be back in a second and I'll continue the reckoning. They will still be waiting for us. And the pressure grows to make a save and throw, to introduce some move, we turn the lights down low. My armor's exposed, I'm getting full of holes. Think I need another chorus. Sooner or later, the dice land on the table. You know that's what fables are made of. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. This is a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Oh yeah, it's a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. It's critical, critical. That ain't how we roll. Oh no, it ain't stolen. We on a roll. Hey, we on a rollin'. That ain't how we roll. Oh no, it ain't stolen. We on a roll. Hey, we on a rollin'. Sooner or later, the dice land on the table. You know that's what fables are made of. Oh yeah, it's a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. This is a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Oh yeah, it's a critical hit. My main man did double damage. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. It's critical, critical. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. This is a critical hit. Oh yeah, it's a critical hit. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. It's critical, critical. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. This is a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Oh yeah, it's a critical hit. My main man did double damage with it. Everybody sing, oh yeah, it's a critical hit. It's critical, critical.
Are you hyped? What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog types. Welcome to episode 130 of Pen and Pixels. What's going on, everybody? I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is our show that we do every Tuesday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern, in which we talk about story and narrative in games and all that kind of good stuff. And this is the time, he said, that we finally get a chance to do some of this cool stuff with you and with the D&D with GOG crew, which I'm really looking forward to. This should be a really good time. If you have not already done so, please consider following this channel, the lovely people at GOG. Please consider doing that. Please also consider subbing to the channel because you get those awesome emotes you saw running around the messages earlier today. That would be pretty awesome if you could do that. And definitely make sure that you check out all of our individual things as well. We all have individual channels and Patreons and subsystems and stuff like that. So if you were able to do that for us, that would be delightful as well. With that said, I'm going to pop up my image here. There we are. I was waiting. I was like, where is it going? What's going on, everyone? Welcome, welcome. It is my pleasure to welcome you all into the world of D&D. And I've decided here, I know that we are in a world right now which can be very complicated and complex. And since I know that we've been just in the midst of E3 hype and all that kind of stuff, we have, of course, something very important going on in the Dungeons & Dragons world. And that, of course, has to do with this fancy dress ball that the party is going to have to be attending very soon. And so I thought it was important that we look to, conferences that actually provide something. I know that right now we're in the middle of conferences and summits that actually produce nothing of any substance. We mean to provide you substance today. Couldn't resist, sorry. But you're going to be joining me with the rest of the D&D crew. I just want to remind everybody one quick note about my short story contest, Arvanaut Idol 3, which I'm doing on my channel. I know many GOG people were part of that last year. If you are interested in getting part of the Arvanaut Idol 3, definitely send me a short story submission. You can find details and videos that I've posted over on my channel, YouTube, or you can talk to me separately in Discord and things like that. But I have got a short story contest that I do on my channel, previously won by Classicor, who used to stream at GOG back in the day, and Kilobyte, one of my regular mods over there. This is our third contest, and it begins with a short story submission of 2 pages or fewer, which you would be sending to me. So you can back channel it to me via Twitch private message, Twitch Whisper, I should say. You can send it to me on Discord. You can also send it to me on my email address, arvanelleron@gmail.com, as soon as possible, if you're interested in participating and being a part of Arvanaut Idol 3. Now, with that said, it is my great pleasure to get us ready for D&D. I'm going to unmute myself so that they know that we're ready to go. Then I'm going to unmute them as I usually do. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to use the power, I hope, of my Elgato Stream Deck, which is really cool. Let's see if it works.
Everyone's getting one of them now.
It's not. That's not the right button. Where's the right button? There it is. I knew it. I knew it was there.
It just stops.
They were just like, wait, stop. It doesn't work. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It is 3 of the 4 of the spectacular D&D with GOG crew. I'm very happy to welcome them back and to the City of Splendors, Waterdeep. But before we get there, I will, as usual, ask them to introduce themselves, starting with the person right below me, the head honcho, the master of disaster, the leader of all that is good in this world, also known as the stream team leader of the GOG stream team, and that, of course, is Pyron Jade. Hi, Pyron. How are you? How's life? And who are you playing today?
Life is full of things, and I'm okay, I would say. I just realized that you can still see my husband's screen on the background, so I was like moving over and trying to move the camera, but it
Quick,
didn't
zoom
really
in,
work out.
zoom in. Like,
Oh god, he's using
That's in
Steam.
Cyberpunk.
he's using Steam. Aha!
Oh god.
Just immediately, we just like go all like, nope. We're just gonna have everyone's cameras go. Okay.
And yeah, so I will be playing as Greta Goldenfire, cleric of Folters, made light shine on his way. And I just realized I can't really oppose lawful gambling, can I?
Nope.
So
I found a loophole.
Oh man.
so now that Celsic got his permit, I'm not really sure what to do.
That is right.
And yeah, I would also. Can you please tell people about Arvanaut Idol?
Yes, I did. I actually, before you came on, I did.
Okay.
Tell people about Arvanaut Idol 3. There are people who will be competing in this. I'm hoping that some of the people here, Tabor, and might be actually contributing to Arvanaut Idol 3 as well. I'm hoping that Screaming Joypad will. I'm hoping that maybe, Tasty Chai would like to submit something to Arvanaut Idol 3. For those of you who'd missed it, Arvanaut Idol is my short story contest that we run on my channel. The way it works is you submit something of 2 pages or fewer to me. I then use that list to narrow us down to semifinalists, then either 3 and 3 semifinalists or 4 and 4, depending on how many groups, how many people we have, how many entries we have, end up going onto my channel. I read them a prompt like the day the statue first moved, everything changed. And then they go off and write a fiction piece over about a 2-hour span. Then they send it to me. I read it out to chat, having it anonymized so they don't know who wrote what. And then chat votes on this, and the top vote getters advance to the finals, and the top winner becomes Arvanaut Idol, in this case Arvanaut Idol 3. Pyron reached the final of last year's Arvanaut Idol. Saber, did you contribute and get into, or I don't remember if you did and then you didn't, but you were thinking about it though?
I was thinking about it, but I'm not sure.
I want you to think harder this time.
I actually sent in stories twice, and I qualified twice, but I could only participate once.
That's right. Yep.
But Seriously, I'm usually not a writer, and I'm not even an English native speaker, but I can tell everybody just try it. It was so much fun to really like force yourself to sit down and write. And then I got in and I had to like get up, I think at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and to take part in competition. And it was totally worth it. If you want to see my qualifying stories, I put them up on my Medium blog. So you can see what I wrote and everything. Just dare to do it.
You
It's
should
just
do that.
wonderful.
I think Pyron came in second. She had like did very good stories. So it was close. It was
I
definitely
only
close.
put up my qualifying story still, not the ones that I wrote during the contest.
Right.
because
Yeah,
I
for the
didn't
contest
find
thing.
time yet.
But
time is like
definitely
really
do
rare.
that though, because I really would like to see a good group of people that gets to participate in this. So please do that. No cost to you, and it's part of my Patreon on my channel. So yes, definitely let's do that. So so I have talked about Arvanaut Idol 3.
Thank
and
you.
you've talked about Greta Goldenfire, and so we're good. And that leads us right on to the power of Celsigmar compels you through the power of Darksaber 2K. What's up, Darksaber? How you doing, man? How's life in the universe, and what's up with you as of late?
Doing pretty good. Still between jobs at the moment, so I've just spent most of this week digesting all the E3 news and non-news, and was that it?
Arvanaut Idol 3, far more compelling than E3.
Actual content. I'm being overly snarky, I know, but there was some very interesting stuff this weekend.
Yeah, there was. And of course, the particular one is that you were pumped up about. One of the ones was Skull and Bones, which, you know, I mean, like, pirates, yeah, that's what it's all about.
Gimme.
I forget who it was that actually posted this. It might have been Dango Kitty, who's kind of like, or was, I don't remember who it was like, oh, I can't handle it because of the dead people. And I'm like, so the thing about a pirate game is that a lot of times people die. It's not Nerf. It's not Nerf pirate. They actually don't make it, and that happened. But anyway, it's
She would like Man-Eater.
Yeah, I can't. I want to see. You clearly would be first in line for that game, no doubt, man.
Oh my
I
gosh.
wasn't yet, but it is coming soon.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that, man. Who are you playing today?
I will be playing Celsig Mauer, sometimes a rogue, sometimes a ranger, mostly a scoundrel, and currently aspiring to be a gambling establishment owner.
Yeah, he does. He does really change jobs every city, like jobs and classes and everything. Like he just
You don't want a
adds
trail.
them. You just
Never leave a trail.
Yeah, no, it's true. You just keep adding stuff. It's true. Yeah, so pleasure to have you on board as always, Saber. And yeah, you're right, 8-Bit. Starlink, your reaction to that was so funny. You're like, wait, what? Star Fox? Because I heard the sound, the whir, and I'm like, that sounds like Star Fox. And as I'm saying it in all caps, Star Fox from 8-Bit. And he's like, it was really
like,
funny.
Thieves! Oh, no, wait, it's a tie.
It was really funny. It was good times. But anyway, so thank you for joining us, Saber. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Player right underneath you, as you can see, is player not available now. As he has said, this is not talking out of school. Mike is moving and is in the midst of his move, and so he could not do it with all the stuff going on in his life as he was in the midst of the move. So he will return. He will be back with us next month with more D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder. So he will be here, but sadly, he will not be here for this particular session. So you will be instead just have to see this symbol of player not available, which is right above him. So that's what we've got, but it's fine because we will forge on without him, though we will miss him. But you should definitely check out Screaming Joypad's YouTube channel. Really good guy and good D&D player, and I'm looking forward to having him back next month. But for right now, I am moving on to the final person of the group, the newest member of the group still, who has, of course, endeared herself to all of us with her quick wit and her fun attitude and her myriad of stuffed animals behind her, and that, of course, is Tasty Chai. Always a pleasure, Chai. How are you? How's life? And who are you playing?
I'm doing well. I have a myriad of stuffed animals, so what can go wrong? Especially because one of them is a tiny Cthulhu, which
Nice. Nice. Outstanding.
So yeah, otherwise I'm like really tired because I've been covering all of E3, so I've been like marathon streaming all weekend because that's not a thing I do ever. And otherwise, I am playing River, who is a silver dragonborn with a huge affinity for food and also possibly gambling. We'll see how she feels about that. And who's very excited to try on and wear her pretty dress.
Yes, that's true. The pretty dress, which is the consequence, of course, of the fancy dress ball that they are meaning to attend. And let us start. Let me unmute this for chat. There we go. That's that. I'm actually going to change that up. Let's get ourselves into a little bit of a city environment here. We got ourselves that. Let's throw out this one right here. Then we need to put on some extra music. Let's give me a little bit of, how about some Willow in the Light, maybe? Yeah, there we go. City of Trade in the Day. All right, good. There we go. Brought to us, a lot of that brought to us by Kevin McLeod. All right, so very quickly, what we've got going on here is these folks are in Waterdeep. The overall point of the campaign in Storm King's Thunder, you'll have to take a look at my YouTube channel to check out all the previous broadcasts of this, because there's been a lot of things that have happened. But in brief, the party is attempting to figure out what has happened with the giants. Why are the giants acting the way they are? Why are they creating all of this incredible disruption? Why are they attacking cities and towns when they were previously peaceful? What is it that has led to this? And one of the theories is that the ordning, essentially a way that the giants organize themselves within giant society, has broken down. The king of the giants is missing, and as a consequence, the giants have sort of fallen into factionalism and squabbling. And so the party has tried to figure out why this is, and they've had a couple of leads, but one of those leads is this powerful artifact called the Ring of Winter. It is a cursed item, but is a very powerful cursed item, and the last lead that the party had was that a man named Artis Cimber owned this ring, and that he was going to meet with Lord Roaringhorn in Waterdeep, where he was going to speak with him about it. And so the last person that spoke with him, presumably, is Lord Roaringhorn. And so as the party went through a bunch of adventures that I won't get into right now, but eventually found their way to Waterdeep by way of the Harpers, and are now preparing themselves. Thank you for the follow, Insipid Fat Guy. That is a great name. Well, thank you for the follow. Welcome to GOG and the DRM free community. So as the party has arrived here ready for their fancy dress ball, they are now preparing to meet with Master Stevenson, who is considered to be the finest dance master in all of Waterdeep. And so the party is heading over there in preparation for their fancy ball tonight. Now, as you were heading over in that direction, I do want to ask, because when you were first coming to here, you were being spied on, you may remember, and you actually found the person who was spying on you. It was a member of the Harpers,
Yes,
who
of course.
Greta has some very serious doubts about at this point, because they all seem to be weird. They're all weird and all odd and all that kind of stuff. But they did find this person who was watching after them, and who was basically sort of spying on them. And so I'm curious, as you were going over to where Master Stevenson is to be found, if you have any things that you want to be looking for in particular. Are you looking around, scanning the roofs? Do you have kind of your head down, like racing ahead? How are you heading over to that spot?
I'm still slightly afraid of Diego Maradona. So I'm
Follow us all the way to Waterdeep.
He always appears
Open
when
a
you
treasure
least,
chest.
he always
It is
appears when you
I.
least expect it. Da-da-da-da.
I don't. Yeah, you never know. So yeah, If I hear sudden, I don't know, loot sounds, I'll be very. So yeah, I'm still slightly paranoid on looking around.
Okay.
Note to self, buy a loot.
Celsig, River, how are you? What are you doing?
Considering I'm dressed in my outrageous money suit, I'm very alert because I'm literally saying, "Hey, steal the clothes off my back."
Yeah, because it's true. Celsig is just like dressed to the nines. He walks, as he's walking, it's a little stiff, actually. Like it doesn't quite, there's not a lot of give in the seat, if you know what I'm saying. And like, it's not. This is not sort of thievery outfit type of thing that you might normally wear.
Got, like, gem cufflinks and gold buttons.
Although it does look a little bit like what you would expect from, let's say, somebody that ran a casino in The Godfather in Las Vegas. I'm just saying, not that you do that, or all,
Yes.
or even know what that means in D&D, but I'm just saying, like, that's possible. Okay, and then River, what are you doing? And one of you, I don't remember who it was. All of you don't have armor because of this outfit, but one of you was not wearing it until later. Was it Greta that was not wearing?
I'm not wearing mine now. I think River and I were still having our dresses wrapped and just carrying them with us.
Okay, so River as well. Okay, so
Yeah, I was about to ask about that because I couldn't remember.
Yes, so you're not wearing it, but you have it with you. I just want to make sure. Okay. So what are you doing, River, as on the way over? Are you particularly engaged or looking in any direction, or just what?
Not especially. River was very, very easily distracted in the first city, and now like city's a city, so she's mostly just walking along until there's a strong smell of something delicious.
I see. Yeah, so she's focused on the possible search for food as she
Yes.
went along. All right, that's fair. Okay, well, as you were sort of making your way through the streets, you don't really encounter anything in particular other than just sort of the regular passage of people walking by. You may remember that you're now only a few hours before the actual ball itself. So you can definitely see as you get closer to this area right here, which is where the Master Stevenson's house is supposed to be, you do see more carts and like carriages going by. A lot of them are fairly nice carriages, actually, usually escorted by several guards who are jogging alongside. You also pass by people walking along wearing particular suits and outfits and things like that as well. Oh, thank you. That's very dramatic. Can I show this off? I got a new, we have a friend of ours who's a police officer, so we just got the new Sergeant's Benevolent Association card, which is a nice way of saying, please don't give me that ticket, officer. I have a Sergeant's Benevolent Association card.
Oh my god,
That's like-
that's
We've
pretty
never actually had this use this, but
what
you know,
is that?
it's a thing to indicate that we support the good police of New York City. We support New York City's finest, and in no way does that allow us to suggest that maybe we should not get in trouble if something happens. This is, of course, a complete lie. It's not totally a complete lie. We do actually have this friend who is a police officer. Yeah. I just love that it's numbered, though. Like, I had the old one, and, like, I had the 2015 one, and that wouldn't work, right? Like, if I showed that, they'd be like, no, sir, you might have supported us in the past. But now we don't know. Now we support them in the future. Anyway, sorry. So
This should be good for a period of time, right?
yeah, like at least a year now, we should be fine to break the law. No, we never break the law at all, actually. So it's just a backup. It's just in case. Anyway,
Note to self: donate to City Watch.
I'm just saying, when you get your own ID card, man, that's the best. It's such a commitment. Oh man, you need a card for Cell Sigmar. You do need a card for that. Except, well, he's just got like a whole Rolodex, right? Like his like all the people he belongs to. Right?
Ranger, no. Waterdeep, no.
One of these does it, like Eat at Joe's, 5% off. No, not that one. Anyway.
Oh, hey, free sub.
Yeah, exactly. So as you folks are walking to this place, you encounter a bunch of people that are, as I say, they seem to be all dressed up and preparing. Whoops, sorry about that. I muted that by accident. Who were all dressed up and kind of preparing clearly for the event tonight. There's definitely a palpable sense of excitement in the air. And you can see that the guards, as you're walking along, the ones that I mentioned jogging alongside, look a little more, and you in particular notice this, Celsig, more on edge than usual. You don't know if it's just the sort of heightened interest of what happens when a bunch of rich people all show up in one place and like what that tends to bring along, but whatever the case may be, like there seems to be a little bit more on edge. You finally reach this intersection of what the heck is that? Soul Street and Skulls Street. So you end up showing up right about here. And as you look off to your left down Skull Street, you can actually see a fairly nice house, which is on the side here of this street, kind of facing the road. And you can see it you can see the floors kind of leading up, and you can tell that it's got to have something to do with it because there's a banner outside that shows what looks like someone twirling in silhouette. So your guess is that this is probably Master Stevenson's place, if you had to guess. And so you are standing outside pretty much where you think Master Stevenson's place is.
Yeah, well, let's politely knock.
Okay, you knock, there is no response.
Knock harder. Just like bang on the
The door is unlocked, but nobody answers it.
So, does the door swing open after her knocking?
Yes. In fact, the door wasn't even totally closed.
Oh, so I like fling the door open. Oops.
Okay. Wham! Like it slams against the wall. And you can see that it looks a little bit dark inside.
Oh, well, that's not a problem for any of us, is it?
I
No?
don't believe so.
Other than being unsettling.
Yeah, there are no
I think
lights.
we all,
yeah.
I think we all have night view and stuff.
Would it be normal for a place to be, for him to be not be here at this time of day?
No. Although it is, it is the night of a big fancy dress ball, but no, normally you thought that you were getting here when he was still supposed to be open. So that is a little odd.
So I think that, do we all have dark vision?
No, I can just cast light.
I just hold on to people when it's dark.
Okay, then.
So I grab hold of you if you're gonna move forward.
This is not okay. Why is the door open? I don't think people leave the door open nowadays.
It's just not safe. There's all kinds of people around who might take that as an invitation.
Yeah, let's go in.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the good guy
Like
here.
us. Okay. So,
I'm gonna. I'm just gonna. What could I have with me that I can cast light on?
Don't have any swords.
do you have a Sergeant's Benevolent Association ID? Because this would be a good time. Just holding it in front of you, like. Oh my god.
I know a policeman.
I support the police of Waterdeep. Oh man. Okay, so you're going in with Greta first, Selsig, River behind, and then Selsig bringing up the rear. Is this right?
Yeah,
And also Urash. Where Urash, by the way, is going to be. It seems very silent. He seems very thoughtful these days. So
I rumble through my robes and I take out my mace and I cast light on my mace.
okay.
And if anybody asks me why I have my mace with me, they're gonna get a dirty look.
Gotcha.
I was about to say, I thought that we left all of our weapons, but I think you did say you take your mace.
You take your mace,
I did
but most
say.
of you left your weapons, and all of you left your armor.
Yeah.
But,
No armor.
And I think actually that Selsig has got a lockpick with him, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I know
That's
that
a good
Urash
idea.
has an extra healing potion, but that's pretty much that's all. Okay, so you enter into the establishment, and with Greta sort of in front. So I'm sorry, you have light cast on the mace.
Yes,
Okay.
like
So-
I didn't want to. I don't want to set anything on fire.
So
yet.
as you walk in, you have this strange effect where suddenly you are blinded. It feels like there is light flashing at you from every part of the room. There's no sound, nothing jumps at you. You're just like, ow, like there's just light reflecting from something. In fact, lots of things.
Okay, I cover my eyes and
I
I
throw
like
myself backwards out the door.
avert my head like
Hey!
what?
Okay, you cover your eyes.
Yeah.
As your eyes begin to adjust, you can see, both Greta and the river, and Urash can see, that you are standing in a room that seems to have lots of mirrors on the walls. And actually, there are, on the other side of the mirrors, there are these, like, what looks like bars about sort of waist high. Like sort of bars that you could hold on to, like railings, basically, that you could hold on to that are attached to the mirrors. And you, in fact, are standing on what looks like a smooth wooden floor.
Hello? Anybody at home? What was his name? Master Johnson?
Stevenson.
Stevenson.
Master Stevenson, then?
There is no response.
This is not okay, is it?
There is a door that is behind. There's sort of in the back of the place, and then there is a set of stairs leading upwards to the second floor.
I think we should check. Maybe he fell. I
Walking
look at my
dusting.
companions.
Since there wasn't any shouting, I'm just walking in, dusting myself off, pretending.
Yeah,
that-
we're just reeling.
That's fine. Everything's okay.
I definitely wasn't cowering behind Greta.
That, considering our size difference, that would have been difficult.
I
Wouldn't
know
it?
you were.
Yes.
You weren't cowering effectively. Like you're just like it's like
No.
it's like you put the lampshade on your head and you pretend you're a lamp, and that supposedly works. Yeah,
Exactly. No, it's like if I can't see them, they can't see me.
exactly.
I think we should go upstairs. Maybe something happened to Master Stevenson. Maybe he
We
fell.
don't have any pointy sticks.
Do you need a pointy stick?
Don't we need a pointy stick?
I never had a pointy stick. Do you need a pointy stick?
I don't know. What if it's a bad man?
What?
Would it be okay?
To have a pointy stick?
No. Well, I don't have a pointy stick.
Well, what would you do with a bad man then?
I'd eat him.
Sounds good. You don't need a pointy stick for that. So let's go.
Okay.
River, can't you breathe fire as well?
Well, I can breathe cold.
That
All
sounds.
right. I just
That
knew
is
another
really,
dragon
really good.
would.
Yeah. So I think we'll actually be fine.
Yeah.
Was that
Okay.
racist of me to assume?
No, 'cause-
You
Okay,
all
so I guess-
breathe fire, right?
yeah, I'll always breathe fire.
Oh man. You're
Look
a
at my
dragonborn.
scales. What color are they?
Do you know Smog? Because you're a dragon, right? So, do you know Yvonne from the Wizard of Sea? Okay.
Okay,
You're going up the stairs, Pyron, or what? Or
Yes,
Greta, what are
I
you doing?
go first.
Okay. Are the rest of you following?
Yes.
Okay. Urash seems to be obediently going along as if lost in thought. All right, so you go straight up. Hey, what's up, Immortal Benny? So as you walk up the stairs, you don't hear anything, but you do sort of see what looks like a few sets of papers at the very top of the stairs, like a couple of loose papers that are on the ground. You'd have to bend over and pick them up to see, but there's a couple of loose papers there.
I bent over and picked them up to see.
It looks like receipts, like invoices, and they have things like on the 14th day of midsummer, Mr. Jones, Mrs. Jones, 30 gold coins, and then like there's entries like that, and it looks like these all are like receipts for individual lessons, like dancing lessons, but there's a bunch of them and they're all lying on the ground haphazardly. Again, this is just the top of the stairs. You haven't gone into the main room yet, but just the stairs.
Damn, this is a fire hazard. You should be more careful. Okay, like Master Stevenson?
Still nothing.
I just really try to listen for any sound.
Make a perception check for me, please.
Can I as well?
Sure.
Because, yeah, something's definitely wrong here.
Not gonna perceive anything, but I'll play too.
All right.
19.
Okay. 18. And 14. Okay. So all of you listen really, really carefully, but you do not hear anything other than just the normal sounds of the city outside. Nothing inside here.
River, can you smell anything that might be amiss here? Like, I don't know, blood?
Actually, with that 14, so if you want to do, let's see, I was having you listen. Do another perception for me, River, if you're going to be doing smelling. I'll have you add 2 to this, though. I mean, plus your normal. Well,
Oh,
so
plus
10.
my normal. Hang on. Plus my normal would be 3. Okay, hang on.
so 10.
Yeah.
All right. So you're like, you smell you smell dwarf, you smell orc, you smell halfling, and maybe some dragonborn. You're not 100% sure. You think that you smell those things.
Why
I
do
look
you
at you.
think you?
So, can you smell anything?
I mean, I smell you. You smell very nice.
Oh, thank you.
He doesn't though, and I point at Urash, who's standing there, very.
He's still lost in thought.
Yeah.
Urash is indifferent. No, Urash will remember this.
I shall remember this. Oh man.
Nothing weird though. Nothing weird.
Okay.
No food either.
So, how many doors are here?
I have give me 1 second, I'll tell you. She comes across as normal to me volume wise. Are you guys hearing her as quiet? Because she seems normal on my side.
It might have just been kind of quiet, like he might have been my bad.
Yeah, I think she's fine. Can people hear everybody okay? I think they can, but
Volume sound good on my end.
okay, that's what I thought. But okay, so sorry. So now you're asking about the number of doors. So you're still the room itself. The stairs go up, and you have to basically take a right out of the stairwell into the room. So you don't actually know yet how many doors there are. There's one sort of it leads up to the floor, and you don't know how many doors are on that second floor, Greta.
Do the papers form a trail, or are they just like?
They are
dropped where we're
haphazard,
standing?
but there are now that you look at it, there are more of them that are like leading into the hallway. So
I'm going to just go ahead and follow the paper trail carefully.
there are 2 doors, and one as you sort of enter the floor. There's 2 doors. One of them is almost right in front of you, not quite. That door is closed. And then the papers themselves trail down the hallway and through what is an open door. The open door is on this, like down at the other end of the hall, but the papers are leading out of that.
I follow Celtic.
Yeah, I'm gonna just carefully make my way forward quietly. Try not to make too much noise.
Okay. So.
We just shouted Master Stevenson.
Keep yelling.
Okay. When you enter the room, the second floor, the second room that has the papers coming from it, looks like it might be an office, but it is an office which clearly has had someone here. The entire place looks wrecked. There are books everywhere. There are papers on the ground. You see a number of smashed, like, statuettes. They might have been, like, trophies, like awards for dancing events and things like that are smashed on the ground. And you see, lying face down, not in a pool of his own blood, just lying face down, a human male who seems to be with dark brown, sort of short cropped hair, wearing a very elaborate looking outfit, actually. And he is lying face down, unmoving.
Okay, I storm forward and check on him.
He is unconscious, and it looks as if someone has knocked him out. There's a big sort of lump swelling on the back of his head.
Okay. I like check his eyes to see if it's like a bad concussion or.
It looks like it's definitely a concussion, but it doesn't look like. I mean, he's not dead.
Yeah,
but
well,
he's
that's
definitely
good.
unconscious. Sorry.
That's good.
Yeah, but he definitely looks like he was hurt.
Okay. We should get him on a bed or something. We can't just let him lie here. I like take his arms and gesture to somebody to take his feet.
I grab his feet.
Okay.
Celtic, look whether there's a bed or something up here.
I pretend I wasn't just poking at stuff to see if it was valuable. Go, yes.
Right away.
I also pretend you were not doing that.
So there's nothing clearly in this room. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but there's no bed type stuff in this room. The only other room is the one that's on the other end of the hallway, right at the top of the stairs.
Okay. I got a bed over here.
Okay.
Yeah, just sort of hold the door. I open the door and sort of wave them over.
You actually don't know if there's a bed on there yet.
Oh,
the door
sorry,
was
don't know.
closed.
Oh, right, yeah, I'll go over to the door and I'll open it. As far as we know, there's no one here.
There is a bedroom. You have found the bedroom, apparently. There is a bed, and there seems to be a little, like, a footlocker type chest thing at the bottom of the bed. The bed itself, it's a fairly nice room, fairly well furnished, and the bed seems to be made up as if no one has slept here today anyway. It is not a mess at all. Nothing seems to have been taken from this room.
I ransack the room and take it, but no.
I changed that immediately. And
Found a bed. I yell back at everyone and sort of wave them in.
okay.
Yeah, well, let's carry him over.
All right. You do so. You can lie him down on the bed. He just sort of, he lies back again, still unconscious.
Is there some kind of, I don't know, perfume stuff in this? I would like to do like a smelling salt of thing.
You could probably do something like that. Even maybe just dumping water in his face. Something like that might work too.
Well, if there's a vessel with water, I will do that.
You can. All right. So you're able to do this. And when you sort of sprinkle the water on his brows. Oh. Hello, who are you? Thieves? Are you thieves?
Hello, may fault shine on your way. I'm Peter Goldenfire, and I presume you're Master Stevenson?
And he says, yes, I'm Master... Oh, my head. What has happened? Who are you?
Well, we came here for dancing lessons and found you unconscious in your bookkeeping room.
Unconscious? What do you mean? I remember I was in my office, and then there was a pain in the back of my head, and then... Oh, wait a minute. And he stands up, and he kind of stumbles, like, as he walks over to the door. Like, he almost falls over. And then, like, he kind of holds onto the door frame, and he sees the papers, and he's like, oh, no. And he comes out, and he starts, like, is stumbling. Like, he just woke up. Like, he's barely able to... He's, like, kind of stumbles on the ground, sort of hands and knees, crawls into his office. And are you following him, or are you...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is going to be interesting. Let's
So
follow.
he's like in there, and he's like sorting through papers, and he's like, it can't be. He's sorting through it, and da-da-da-da. And then he's like, he turns to you with horror and his honor in his face and his expression, and he says, they've stolen it. They've taken it from me. All is lost. all is forever lost. Oh, 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 oh.
Did they take your cupcakes?
Oh, my
Hands of
cupcakes.
steel.
If only it was so mundane as that, my dear. They've taken something far more important. Nothing is as important in Waterdeep as what they have taken. Oh, oh,
Are you gonna
oh.
tell us what it was?
He starts sobbing.
I look at my companions like, I fear dance lessons might be not available tonight.
He says, dance lessons. Are you here for dance lessons?
Yes.
And he looks up at you. He's like, well, yes, of course I can. Oh, but now I can't. Huh,
Why?
They've taken it, don't you understand? They've taken
No.
the only things that matter.
Okay,
The
what is
rhythm?
What you say, the rhythm?
The ribbon.
He says, no, not the rhythm. The rhythm lives in here. And he like reaches for his heart, you know, he's like, this is where the rhythm is. And this, and he does the top like, da-da-da-da-da, and this, and then he starts to stand and then immediately slips. And he says, what am I? I'm fooling no one. Without these, I am useless to you as an instructor and to anyone. Waterdeep will never be the same. Oh, disaster. Disaster.
What'd they take?
He says, what did they take?
What'd they take?
My dear girl. And he reaches down, picks up this, one of his broken trophies and sort of thrusts it in your direction. He's like, do you see this?
Uh-huh.
First prize at the Neverwinter Ball. That was a wonderful year. And this one. And he reaches up and he shoves it at you, Celsig.
Shiny.
This was the competition for the Sword Coast Tango, one that I won with the exceptional Morencia Valens. Ah, Morencia, my darling, how wonderful we looked together on the dance floor. And then, of course, this! And then he picks up from behind him, like, this very large trophy and sort of puts it in your direction, Greta, and he says, do you realize what this is?
No.
He says, this is the award for greatest dancer in all of Faerun. And he stops, he goes, more or less. I was actually second place, but it was very close. Very, very close. And he says, I am one of the finest dance instructors ever to have lived upon the Sword Coast. And I am, if I may say so, Waterdeep's finest dance instructor. But all of it is reliant upon one very simple thing. A pair of things, really. My shoes. Without my dancing shoes, I am useless. With those dancing shoes, I can cut the Coronado with the best of them. I can dance a tango around anyone. I can laugh in the face of danger and two-step away, one step at a time. And he looks at all of you dramatically. He says, you will never find a better dancer or a better instructor, or one more useless without his shoes. And that means that it must have been taken from me by a jealous rival. Right now, on the eve of my greatest triumph, Lord Roaringhorn's greatest ball, half the people there have been trained by me, all of them, and yet, what will they say of their greatest instructor, the dance teacher, the one who inspired them, can do no more than stumble over his feet like a drunken sailor in the docks district? Oh, disaster. Such a disaster.
Can you dance right now?
He says, can I dance? Would you ask a soldier to fight without his sword? Would you ask a cleric to pray without her cross? Would
Yes.
you ask a
Yes.
would you ask a ranger or rogue or bard or gambler or whatever you are, he yells at Celsig, whatever you are, to do whatever they do without their things? We all need something, my dear. These shoes were given to me by my mother. May she rest in the heavens above with the gods. When she taught me how to dance herself, she gave this to me when I opened this studio and said, you will always remember, my friend. You will always remember, my dear, dear child. You will always remember the way to dance so long as you have these shoes. And ever since then, I've used them, polished them, spent a fortune to keep them, their soles resurfaced, and their fronts looking as good as new. And yet my jealous rivals have conspired against me to take away these shoes. With them, I am the greatest dance instructor the Sword Coast has ever seen. Without them, I'm a pathetic, fumbling fool. And he kind of sits in this pile of papers looking like hangdog, you know.
Have you tried dancing without your shoes?
He looks at you indignantly. He says, "Sir, I think I know what is required of my feet.
Fair enough.
Let me ask you, have you ever tried stealing something without your tools?"
Stealing? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a service applicant. I'm not on trial here and I walk out.
He says, "Exactly. Be careful on the way out. That suit won't handle your various adventures. And as for you," he says, pointing to you, Greta, he says, "you all, well, how would you be able to do your work if you are not buoyed by the faith that makes it possible for you to connect with your gods? Those shoes are my very souls." Stops and then thinks and then... Never mind. Anyway...
Just out in the hallway, you just go, boo!
So these shoes, are they... How old are they?
He says, "Why, they are as old as when the studio was first created. I have just reached my 50th winter, and I opened this when I was but 20 years old. For 30 years I have possessed these shoes, as every other dance master has come to me to ask them for assistance in opening up their studios. And have I turned them away? No, because dance must be shared with all."
So you've been using these shoes for 30 years. Did at any time you have maybe the soles replaced?
Many times. The soles, the fronts, of course, I've had them resurfaced, reshown, but the laces redone. But the point is, the soles of the shoes have remained. Even when the soles have been replaced, the soles remain. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, I've heard a similar story once about a certain dwarven axe. It's okay.
He nods. He said, wait, you're here for lessons, you said, but I can't possibly... Wait, are you... And he sort of looks out, he pulls himself back to the door frame and looks out at you two, Celsic, and he says, "Are you adventurers?"
Depends.
Well, you're clearly not dancers. Anyone can see that from here. Are you adventurers?
He's a ranger.
I can tell. He looks so much the part. And he sort of died. He said, Are you adventurers? Do you go on adventures? For reasons?
No, they go on us. It's not the same thing.
He says, "The adventurers go on you." That sounds like a personal concern. Do you? And he stops. He's like, "Well," he's like, you have come to me then in my hour of need. My friends, please help me. You must help find my shoes. If you can help me find them, I will teach you for free. What is more, I will teach you quickly, and the moves I teach you, I will give you the most secret, the most important, significant dance moves that exist. I will put you 5 years ahead of your time. You will redefine dancing at Lord Roaringhorn's ball, assuming that is where you're going, of course, and you will do so for free if you can find my shoes and find who did this and bring him to me so he may face justice."
And what could we get without the shoes?
He says, "Without the shoes?
Yes.
Several hours of me sobbing uncontrollably, the disaster."
Well, no crime should go unpunished. Who would you assume stole your shoes?
He says, "Well, but I cannot imagine. Well, wait a minute. Any of my jealous rivals. Well, there's Master Johnson, who lives down in the Docks District. Heavens knows he needs the help. He barely has 2 feet, let alone shoes. There's, of course, Mistress Stevens, yes, not Stevens' son, if only. Mistress Stevens, she actually lives over in the Street of Lances. Mistress Stevens, of course, is to be, yes. And then, of course, there is Master Franklin. He is over at Horn Street, yes. Any one of those could have done it, I suppose. I guess a common thief as well, but I doubt it. I always keep the doors locked here, you see. Whoever did this must have been a real professional, and that means that they were hired by someone who could afford it. Any of those 3 rival dance masters could have done quite some damage to my reputation. And yet, if my shoes come back, I will ruin them. and once and for all we will end this little two-step, this back and forth, this waltz of dishonesty, and I will demonstrate my superiority to them by training you to impress them at the ball.
I turn to the parties. Ladies,
do-
an
do-
adventure in the foot.
Do you think these shoes would work for anybody else?
He says, well, what do you mean, work for anybody else?
Yeah, like, apparently these shoes make you a better dancer, right? And a better dance instructor.
Well,
Do you think
yes.
that's something that these shoes could do for anybody else?
That's just it, you see. These shoes are not magical. They are magical to me, for they are invested with the spirit of my dear mother. Not actually, I mean metaphorically. You follow me here. It's a symbolic thing. He says, with those shoes, I feel as if my feet are as light as air, but I can't possibly learn to dance without them. They are psychologically important, if you will. But the others probably think, given the quality of my dancing, that they are magical. They must think that everything is invested in them. It will do them no good. And when they discover this, why, they might take it out on the shoes. Perhaps they would rip them in half, or even, God forbid, give them to a worker or someone like that. Oh, a disaster. Can you imagine smelly, large feet fitting into my shoes, maybe even without socks? Oh, too terrible to think about. Please, I beg of you, you must have some creative qualities within you. Please, would you see a work of art ruined? I would happily reward you with the finest dancing lessons that saving shoes could buy.
I think we should alert the guards to this.
The guards? No! Don't you understand? All of those dance masters have connections. If you alert the guards, it'll get back to them, and then they'll destroy the shoes, and we'll never see them again. This must be done with discretion, and with care, and with the quality that only a good group of adventurers like yourselves who were able to sneak into this place somehow, after the fact. He looks at you all suspiciously. You didn't come in here before this, did you?
No.
Sir, my feet are completely uncovered. I show
You'd have heard them.
Very well, very well. I apologize for my suspicion, but surely you can understand my paranoia. I appeal to you. Please seek out my shoes.
No crime should go unresolved.
Oh,
so
thank you,
yes.
thank you. He grabs you in a big bear hug. Thank you so much. I cannot tell you how much this is worth to me. I will give you discounts on future lessons as well. I will teach you the finest dances. All of Waterdeep will know of your heroism once you have restored my shoes to me. Oh,
Yes.
but
If I ever need future lessons, I will come back to you.
wonderful, wonderful.
In my mind, I just have images of Self-Six Gambling Emporium and Dance Cabaret.
The whole thing is like an elaborate Dave and Buster's. Like, it's just like this huge, like, mega, like, celebratory. That's on floor 5.
Across the Forgotten Coast.
You should check out the spa. That's on floor 7.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I look at River and Celtic. I think we have to find shoes. I look a little uncertain still about this.
Sure enough.
Urash says, seems reasonable. He seems lost in thought still.
I think we can we leave our ball dresses here, because I think that might be hindering us a little bit.
And he says, why, certainly, although, wait, maybe if you had the ball dresses, it would give you access. If you were to make a secret entrance, you know, to go undercover, in disguise, as it were, to conceal the nature of the rhythm of your dance. We call this something different. It's a new thing I've invented. It's breaking from tradition. I call it breakdancing. He stares at you, deadpan.
Okay, we're gonna take the ball dresses with us. I look around a little helplessly. I look at River. I look at him, and maybe, do you have a pointy stick?
Is it? Oh, is he asking him that?
Yes, I'm asking him now.
A pointy stick.
Yes.
I don't understand.
Oh no, we need a pointy stick, because then if there's a bad man, we can skewer him and turn him into roast.
Wait, what? No, you can't. No, please. You can't go in there and kill them. That's
But
just
he
what they
stole
want.
your shoes.
But I know, they deserve no less than death, but if you were to kill them, we must think this through reasonably. If we were to kill them, then that would get back somehow to my studio, and the guards would shut me down. They have no understanding of the sacrifices one must make for their art. No, this must either be taken back from them, or they must be convinced somehow. You must find out why those unscrupulous scoundrels attempted to ruin my good name and take away my clients, my reputation, and most of all, the joy I take from every time I tango and waltz across the floor. You must use discretion with them too. I don't want anyone to be killed. Well, I mean, I do want them to do so if they actually stole the shoes, but I don't want it to come back to me. Perhaps they could just be rendered, well, how do you call it in the adventuring business? Neutralized, or whatever you say.
I call it we will not do anything against the law.
We will take all necessary steps to avoid putting our foot in it.
Our
And
foot in the shoes? My feet wouldn't fit.
he nods and he says, I see that you've already gotten a leg up on your competition. That is spectacular. Just what I would have hoped. I hope that you can do this in as few steps as possible.
We'll take it in our stride.
Wonderful. And he looks at them and he's just like, I cannot wait to see you give them a good dressing down.
Oh no, I'm not giving them my dress.
And he says, oh, I'm sorry. Metaphors are not really my strong suit. He kind of looks in.
Not, yeah.
So he smiles at you and he says, oh, thank you so much. I'm going to try to sort out my office the best I can while you're gone. Oh, please do find those shoes. We only have a few hours before the ball begins.
Yes, we will hurry out. Let's go, people. Let's find these shoes.
Okay. So, where are you folks going? And actually, before you answer that, we're a good ways in now. So I will say welcome, everybody, to Fun with D&D with GOG and Shoes. This is, of course, Storm King's Thunder. I am joined, as always, by Pyron J, Darksaber2K, and Tasty Chai. Screaming Joypad is not with us today. He is moving, so he is not with us. But we are here in Waterdeep, and we are playing Dungeons & Dragons and having a great time. As usual, if you like what you see here, please make sure to follow GOG. Please make sure to sub to GOG as well. And don't forget to check out the sale going on right now as a part of GOG's sale. And don't forget to check out more details about Cyberpunk Week. Dango Kitty, by the way, will be coming to us in about an hour and 45 minutes with Little Red Strings as Cyberpunk Week continues. This is Pen and Pixels, and welcome. Okay, so on we go.
I look at my companion and said, I think we should first check out the two male dance instructors, because if they want the shoes to use them, they could actually, while the female dance instructor couldn't, so she would most have likely them destroyed. So I think we should rather try Mr. Johnson first.
Docs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just checking the map here. I just assume I'm nodding along.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. Now the two that he mentioned that fit that description. One of them is Master Johnson, who is up here at the Street of Lances, and then the other one, oh gosh, as I completely just forgot the name I told you. The first one, it's Master Stevens. That's who it is.
Mr. Stevens.
Mr. Stevens, and Master
Mr.
Stevens is down here, basically in the Docks District, and what he said was. The Docks District is all the way down here in what's called Lackpurse Lane. So let me just sort of type this in here.
Yep.
Not a place I want to take my Sue.
No, I would say probably not. But we are sharing dresses as well.
Carrying, yeah, I'm wearing. I might have to get changed on the way. I think we have to pass our...
I don't think we have time. You decided this.
I didn't know I was coming to get dancing lessons.
I thought that's what we all thought. That things change in the land of D&D.
Oh, I hope you got an appetite, because you'll have to eat a lot of people to keep us safe right now. Because we got no weapons. We got.
Can't I just freeze them?
I have a lockpick.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think, like, maybe, unless we can pass the tavern on our way.
Oh, I think we kind of are going down to the docks.
Are we?
I'm never without a weapon. My faith is with me.
There we go.
Yeah, well,
Master Johnson up top, and then Master Stevens down here in the Dock District, according to what he described.
Master Stevens wasn't as Mistress Stevens?
No.
That was a female.
Nope, not a female. There was a Master Stevens I couldn't remember the name of the woman, but it doesn't matter because she was the one that you sort of ruled out anyway. So yeah, it's Master Stevens and Master Johnson. Master Stevens is the one who lives down in the Docks District.
Okay, then I think we should go for the one who's closer first because he's closer.
I agree. That's what I was
And in the less mugging-y area of the city.
Okay, let's go there and ask Master Johnson for dancing lessons and see how suspicious he will be because of his bad conscience.
Okay. So you make your way out. You head down. Now, how are you, as you sort of get to where you've been described as his place? Because it's not too far from here. It's Skull Street, and then you can take basically Stormstar's ride up here, and then this leads to the Street of Lances where supposedly his studio is. How are you approaching his studio when you get into it? Are you, what's your game plan? You just sort of marching in and or what are you doing?
I'm in a huff.
Everyone follow the upset dwarf.
we tell River there's free food inside and let her kick the door in.
No, I'm in a huff.
Okay.
And I'm going to be completely truthful. I'm in a huff because I was promised dancing lessons. I didn't get any, and I now want some.
Yep.
It's the pony all over again.
It is the pony, yes.
If I can get a pony, I will also take a pony.
That's true. What if the pony gets lancing lessons but not you? Okay. So
I will step aside for a pony.
that's fine. Oh man, pony is seriously hoofing it. All right. So you make your way over to Master Johnson's. So
I knock.
okay, I was gonna say. All right. So the door. This time the door is actually closed. You knock, and you can actually see outside that there is what looks like a fan that's kind of crossed with what looks like possibly a shoe on the sign or something like that. Looks like a dance sign, basically. And it says, the studio of Master Johnson, dance for all ages.
Okay. I knock.
There is a moment's silence, and then you hear someone's coming closer. And then they open the door, and you see this very tall, thin man, kind of with a pale face and dark hair, who looks down on you and
We made a mistake. I just realized, party, we made a mistake. Did anybody ask how the shoes look like?
No, we have no idea what we're looking for.
That's true.
I thought you had it.
What may I do for you? It says.
Master Johnson, we're quite in a hurry here. We were
I am
promised
not
dancing-
Master Johnson. I am his servant Reginald. Master Johnson is not here at the moment. He is away.
I'm sorry. It's the evening of the Grand Ball. We're in need of emergency dance lessons, and he is not here.
I am afraid that Master Johnson is currently occupied at a house call. He is giving lessons to one of his best students for the exact same ball to which you refer. He will then be attending the ball with this student. Therefore, he shall not return here.
Oh my goodness, so it's like his master student.
Yes, master student. You kind of make an insight check for me, please, Greta.
Okay.
No, not history.
Oh, I misclicked. I'm
Insight.
sorry.
Hey, that's more like it. You noticed that when he said the thing about master and student, he hesitated a long time before he got to the student part. Something is weird about their connection. It does not seem like he seems sort of troubled, maybe, even by it.
So I guess we will see Master Johnson and his master student at the ball tonight.
And he says, yes, that is a plan. If you have an invitation for Lord Roaringhorn's ball.
Of course we do.
He says, good, for of course you must know that if Lord Roaringhorn sees people at his ball who are not capable of dancing, they are removed immediately. This ball is only for dancers of the most exquisite quality. Only those trained in the finest techniques will be permitted to remain.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Master Johnson, who could have helped you become those things, is not here. But perhaps you might find another person elsewhere in the city who can teach you what it might be like to be dancing were they as good as Master Johnson was.
Would you say Master Johnson is the best teacher in the city?
Clearly the best, sir. He services only the best clients.
And that's always been the case?
He said, well, I would say so. There are certainly some rivals who would disagree, but clearly Master Johnson is the finest of all the dance teachers here.
And has he been with his student all day?
Yes, for a number of hours. The student demands personal attention, and the student, of course, is going to be his finest, let us say, advertisement for future work, based upon the performance tonight.
Oh my goodness, who is this wonderful student?
Unfortunately, the student has asked to remain anonymous until the moment of the ball. The surprise when this student reveals themselves to be the great Master Johnson student will be overwhelming, and clearly will strike a blow to the heart of all those who would stand in the way of this student and Master Johnson's advancement within Waterdeep. The City of Splendors will never have seen a student of this kind. Trust me.
Wow. Well, that sounds intriguing.
It is. Yes, it is.
Incredible. So, if this student is such a good dancer already, don't you think Master Johnson might be interested in earning some more money by giving us emergency dance lessons?
He says, I cannot speak for Master Johnson, but I think it unlikely that he could take on new students now, especially ones with such a, and he kind of clears his throat and looks at you, Urash, River, Selsig, and he says, such a diversity of talents.
We have pretty dresses.
He looks and he says, indeed, they are quite striking.
I just adjust my shiny gemstone collar, cufflink, just casually.
He says, that is quite an impressive collar you have.
Oh, this old thing?
He sort of nods. He does not smile. You don't know if he's actually capable of smiling.
Very stoic.
Yeah, just very like, yes, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Lurch Reginald. And,
You rang.
and, what a pity that Master Johnson will not be able to decide on his own whether he wants to work with some students who really know how to make an entrance.
Well, come along, Your Majesty. We'll have to try the next person on our list.
And he, as he sort of, looks at you, he says, be aware that Master Johnson does sometimes make an appearance at a local establishment where drinking and eating may take place in celebration of his students' achievements. If you were to search out for that person, you might discover them farther to the south in Waterdeep. The Tavern of the Yawning Portal is the place where they will often go.
Well, thank you very much, but we don't want to bother him unnecessarily. See you!
Very well. Farewell,
This way,
then.
Duchess. I will hold the door open for the ladies.
Okay.
Well,
And
let's bother him. Let's bother him necessarily.
I bow deeply as they go.
all right. He nods back to you, and then the door closes.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go back to the tavern, I guess, and see if Master Johnson is there. We can also get our weapons, I guess.
We're
Okay.
not supposed to kill anyone.
No, but maybe River would feel better with a pointy stick.
Like this.
It's harder to sell you as royalty if you're armed to the teeth.
Well, I'm not royalty anyway. You can't say I am.
I can, and I will.
No, you can say River is royalty.
I am royalty.
Okay. As long
It
as you
says-
don't say that she isn't. Because we've been in this situation before. Well, similar situations.
I am getting better at this, Mr. Ranger.
Excellent. We'll make a bard out of you yet.
All right, so you folks set off on your way. Down towards down towards the tavern, towards the yawning portal. As you make your way down, thank you for the follow, Jiffy Jerry 144. Welcome. So as you make your way down the street, heading back down, let's say, as I tilt my head, Mendeavor Street, and all the way down into the market. Again, as you move away from where the ball was, you see fewer fancy dress type people, and you see more just sort of everyday ordinary people as you're heading down into the area of the market near where the Tavern of the Yawning Portal is. When you arrive at the Tavern of the Yawning Portal, you notice that it is somewhat busy, although not as busy as when you first left it. It's possible that people are going elsewhere to do things before they return here. Nonetheless, there are still people inside when you go in.
Okay, let's go in.
So, are you going up to get your stuff, basically, as you said, or are you going to look for something else? Like, are you looking for the other people that are there? Thank you for the follow, Salty Boost.
I'm going upstairs and get my stuff and maybe put my dress in our room because it might get in the way. And Salsig and Your Majesty, you could maybe look around if Master Johnson is here. And I look at Salsig with like, see, I can do it.
I think I will recover my rapier because I think it can probably go with an outfit like this, because a rapier is kind of fancy.
Yeah, I would say that's true-ish, but it's not going to be hidden, just so you know. Like, when you go to the ball, probably they wouldn't let this go by, but
they probably have a weapon check or something.
Yeah,
I can pass
exactly.
myself off as a bodyguard.
They just actually attach the little number, they put around the outside of the hilt, like just hang out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, you go. So, where do you folks go? There is the Yawning Portal has a couple of floors, as you may remember. Where do you go searching for this Master Johnson?
Like some kind of VIP room?
Yeah, I imagine you wouldn't be slumming it.
Okay.
Can we ask the barkeep?
I mean, it's up to you.
That's actually a great idea.
Does he have a question mark over his head?
This NPC has no quest for you currently. Yeah, it's grayed out though. Okay, so you see the bartender is there. And you may remember this is the guy who's like kind of gruff before, but...
Celtic, while you and River check for Mr. Johnson, I would quickly run back to Master Stevenson and ask him what the shoes look like, and then I'm going to meet you up here.
Isn't the bartender kind of salty towards us at the moment?
Yeah, I don't think he likes it very much.
I think he likes me.
Well, he likes you. So we could go ask about the shoe's identity, and you could talk to the bartender.
Is it the same bartender still?
It's the same bartender.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh darn it. Okay, I will ask him, but we need to find out how these shoes look like, okay? It's kind of important at this point.
Well, you talk to him, and me and River can go and speak to the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, you figure out how the shoes look like.
I do want to point out, by the way, this is a good distance. Sorry to interrupt, Aaron. You are...
Who's the fastest?
1, 2,
River?
3, 4, 5, about 7 city blocks.
Yeah, I have little legs.
River,
But...
River, can you go back to Mr. Stevenson and ask what the shoes look like, please?
You're asking River to go and supervise.
And then memorize it and come back and tell us.
Memorize.
Can we pretend like Urash goes with me to make sure that I do this right?
It's fine.
Because otherwise... Okay.
Rush will come with you.
Okay. So Rush and River are going to go and do that. Meanwhile,
But be quick about it.
Meanwhile, Celsic and Greta are going to be here talking to the bartender.
Okay.
Okay. So you folks head off. I'll stay with Greta and with Celsic for the moment. So when you walk up to him, he's not paying much attention to you. He's actually in the midst of cleaning out the classic canonical cleaning out the mugs behind the bar type of thing. Yep.
Well, hello there.
Oh, yes, hello. He's still a little bit like not sure what to make of you because of variety of previous encounters.
We're looking for somebody. We're still looking for dance lessons, and we're told that maybe Master Johnson is here.
Dance lessons, he says. I'd like to see you be able to step your way out of trouble, that I would. He's like, but no, there's nobody. And he sort of stops for a minute. He's like, well, there's nobody offering dance lessons here. So I think you're going to have to look somewhere else. Certainly there's other masters here. Master Stevenson, for example, is one of the best in the city.
Yeah, but is Master Johnson here tonight? We just talked to Reginald, and he told us he might be here.
He sort of shakes his head and says, might be here. And he kind of looks around. He says, look, I don't make much trouble. It's important that I'm not asking you to do anything. He stops, and then he kind of looks around again. I can't really tell you if he's here. You'd have to go look for him, and you're not able to do that because he wanted privacy. He was very particular about it.
This is kind of this. I look at Celsic like maybe Celsic got the hint because I didn't. Okay, thank you.
Aye. Very well. He turns away.
Celsic, what did he mean?
I think he's here somewhere.
But like in a private compartment or something?
Could be. Maybe he's got like a do not disturb sign out.
Okay, let's walk around. I think you've got a good eye for this. Maybe you can see somebody who's looking private.
Okay, so you're walking around to see if anyone is looking private? Is that what I just understood?
Well, out of character, I think he's in like a VIP. He could be in a VIP room or a VIP booth or somewhere out of the public areas.
Okay.
Is there anything like that here?
Yeah, there's a couple of rooms like that actually. Those are reserved actually for the third smaller floor, much smaller. But there are rooms like that, yes.
And how accessible is that floor?
The floor is accessible. It's the question of the rooms themselves. The floor is accessible.
I have several ways I can approach this. It's getting Greta to help me. That's the problem.
Yeah, how do you approach Greta is the question.
Yeah.
I follow Celtic around and see what he does.
Maybe not seeing what I do would be better.
Okay, what are you doing, Celtic?
Well, I was going to go and start listening and trying to look through the doors.
Okay.
But I need Greta. You just stand here at the bottom of the stairs and just get in the way of anybody trying to come up.
Okay. So, like, if you flush out the thief, I might be standing here catching him.
Yes, exactly like that.
Okay.
But I need to be not disturbed while I look for him, so no one can come up either.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stand here.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna head up, and I'm just gonna, check the coast is clear.
There seems to be on this floor. The hallway is much smaller than the one that's on the second floor, and there are basically 3 doors down the hallway on each side. 3 to the left side, 3 to the right side.
Okay. 3 to the left, 3 to the right. I mean, really, I'm just gonna have to make my way from door to door, listening and trying to peek through keyholes.
Okay, let me have you make a perception check for me, please.
Okay. 14.
So you hear, this is at the first door, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear anything through there.
Okay. And can't see anything through the keyhole.
It just looks to be an empty room from what you can see from the keyhole, but you can't. Keyhole only allows you so much sight, obviously. But
Yeah. I've got a funny feeling I would be able to hear something quite distinct. So I hear nothing at all. I'm going to move on.
okay.
I have in my mind roughly what I'm expecting to hear, but we'll see. 8.
Okay. You don't hear anything there either.
Okay, just have to keep going. Oh, good lord, I'm getting worse at this.
Also nothing. Actually, you go deaf. Like
Just tinnitus. Just...
exactly. All you hear is just like death metal, one note, single note.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, 22.
Now, so the thing is that because of what happens at the third one, where you're just like, I can't hear anything. When you turn this, you were sort of like, whoa, and you hear someone whispering, saying, "All right, now step here. Yes, step there. Yes, that's what yes, indeed, yes. Then one step further. Yes." And you hear the other one saying, a kind of a higher pitched voice, "Mr. Johnson, I don't know." He says, "Yes, indeed. Just simply take this step and trust me. This will be fine. Yes." "Oh, Mr. Johnson, I didn't realize." "Yes, indeed. And step 1 and 2 and Yes, exactly. Now, if you just position yourself there, you don't know what's going on, but it seems awfully quiet.
But unfortunately, it just makes what I've got to say next very unfortunate. I look through the keyhole.
So you see a 4-poster bed with you see actually a chest and chair and very like nicely furnished room, but you also see this 4-poster bed which is covered, and you see what looks like the silhouette of 2 people that are inside on the other side of it, but you can't really see what's going on. They might be, it looks like they might be doing some kind of movement, like there might be some hand movement or hand gesture or something going on.
I think I'm going to need to summon Greta for the next part.
Okay.
Why?
I'm not going in alone.
Apparently neither is he. Oh god, okay, yes. I'm still standing guard at the bottom of the stairs.
All right, I'm gonna come to River and to Urash in just a second. But so, are you going to Greta? Like, what are you doing?
If so, what? So what cells like did you find them?
I think so. But it might need someone a little diplomatic.
Okay.
I can't just open the door and walk in, you know?
Well, but if he's a thief, we should bring him to justice. And I stomp up
Exactly.
the stairs.
Exactly, you should bring him to justice.
You stop up the stairs. Awesome. Meanwhile, River and Urash are on their way back up to Master Stevenson's studio. They actually find the outside, and then they go up, and the door again is the door is closed this time, but you're able to open it. As you get to the top, you see that the papers have been largely cleaned up, River. And as you sort of go around, you can hear someone occasionally from the office. You hear, and 3, 5. Oh, why is the bother? Oh, all right, pull yourself together. Pull yourself together. It's all up to you, Humperdinck. It's all up to you. And he's, then you hear more shuffling of papers and things like that. It's coming from his office.
Okay. I just shout at him like, Humperdinck!
Oh God! And you hear this enormous, like this sound of a thump, and then you just see fluttering. There's a couple papers that flutter out of the door, and he's like, "Oh, God's damn it all!" And you see him pull his head out on the ground, covered in papers. He's like, "Yes, what can I do for you, the shoes? Do you have the shoes? Do you have the shoes?"
Well, no, hey, hi. We don't know what they look like. What do they look like?
What do they look like? Oh my goodness, they're called wingtips. Do you know what those are?
They have wings on them.
No, they have white shoes with black tips on the white shoes. They're shiny in the back, and you'll know that they're mine because they have my initials, HS, Humperdinck Stevenson.
Okay. How big are they?
He says, "Why, they're a size 10, my dear."
Okay. I looked at Urash and like,
He says, "That wouldn't fit me."
just trying to remember everything. Wings on shoes, white with black. Yes. Okay.
Yes, indeed. And he says, "All right, where are your friends, though?"
They're busy. They're gonna do some stuff. I'm gonna leave now, okay? Before I forget. I'll be back soon.
Well, all right then. And he kind of takes some papers that have just now fluttered down to his face as you head back down and out and proceed back down the street. As you go, Greta has reached now the top of the stairs. And are you marching to where? Like, what are you doing, Greta? Are you marching to where?
I turn back to Salsky Bastard. Which door?
Which one was Mr. Johnson behind?
Number 4. It was the farthest one back on the left. So you did doors 1, 2, 3 on the right. Nothing there. Well, at least you didn't hear anything. And then door 4 is the farthest one back on the left.
I adjust my cleric robes. I try to look very impressive.
Okay.
And I go and I knock on the door, with authority.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've heard inside this. Oh, no, Master Johnson. You hear this movement, like this chirp, 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 something like that. You don't really know what the sound is.
Well, it must be some kind of dancing. What do I know?
Yeah, so you knock on the door, and it immediately stops. And you hear, yeah, go away. I didn't ask for room service now.
Master Johnson,
Yeah,
open up in the name of Faltus.
what, Faltus? This is outrageous. Leave this place at once. And you hear this, what's wrong with this? Nothing is wrong. It's all fine, my dear. We will continue with our lessons in just a moment. Go away. I have nothing to say to anyone from Faltus or anyone else. I gave strict instructions not to be disturbed.
You didn't give them to Faltus.
Faltus did not get them.
So, open up the door. We are here on a very important investigation. Justice has to be found. And I'm not talking about my old pal.
Justice? What are you talking? This is
Open
nonsense.
the
Get out of here.
door.
I'll call the guards.
That might be a good idea. Celsic, open the door. I'm like on my righteous thing here.
Okay, Celsic, you're gonna have to try to unlock it, but you can use use dexterity check if you got your thieves' tools. I'll take that too.
Oh, I've got thieves' tools, all right. 26.
Yep, you're just like, and as you're opening it, the door is actually you sort of over open it, like it's no problem. So you open it up, and then the door flies open, and the wind, the curtains behind the four-poster bed, and you find two people. Now these lessons apparently are taking place not on the floor, but let us say that these lessons are taking place above the floor.
Horizontally.
In a soft area. No, they're not both horizontal. And so there's just a moment where like you see this image of a woman, and then you see an image of a man, and they are, and there's a moment of sort of horror, and then she's and she sort of falls backwards. And grabs something, and he's like, "Oh, what is this?" And he like tries to cover himself over. She wraps herself in a blanket and like spins out of the way, like ripping much of the curtain away from the four-poster bed as she like sort of stumbles towards you, and like stumbles past you. And Mr. Johnson has one remaining sheet, which is just over his body, and he's just like,
Is he wearing shoes?
Explain yourself. No, he's not wearing shoes.
I am looking for shoes.
He says, explain yourself this instant. This is an outrage. An outrage, I tell you. Would you mind
Master
closing
Johnson,
that door? It's rather cold.
Okay, let's close that door again.
Sure, use that excuse.
Master Johnson, I'm 100% sure you also want to assist justice. One of your fellow dancing teachers has gotten his shoes stolen, and we are here to recover them. Will you help us?
He says, are you out of your mind? And he sits up, and like the sheets slide down to reveal his naked torso. He's like, he grabs it immediately. He's like, what do you... Listen, I don't know. What do you mean justice? What dance master? What is this nonsense? How did you get in my room? And what happened to my
Through the
star
door.
student just then? Yes. Anyway, what are
We're
you
not
doing
supposed-
here?
We're not supposed to know that she's your star student.
He said, what has Reginald been telling you? Did he tell you where to find me? If that ungrateful servant of mine did this, he will pay dearly. I took him in when nobody else would. He says, and what is this nonsense about shoes? I was simply here engaged in a private lesson. Do you understand what that means? Private? Private as in no one else but me and the student?
I didn't understand until
don't
now.
get it.
He shakes his head. He's like, this is a particular form of teaching. It's very important.
Is it?
It's kind of a method acting. Really.
Then I'm 100% sure you want to continue doing this as soon as possible. We are looking for Master Stevenson's stolen shoes.
Stole shoes? Well, whose shoes? Which master?
Master Stevenson. He is one of your old teachers.
Master Steve. He says, Master Stevenson. Master Stevenson has lost his shoes. Has he really now? He's lost his shoes. Well, that's making this night look up considerably then. That pompous sot. As if I would have anything to do with him. No, I certainly didn't have anything to do with taking his shoes. I come by my dance ability naturally. He gains his skill with those magic shoes of his that he uses all the time. That no account, no talent hack. He certainly wouldn't be giving private lessons, I can promise you.
That's okay with me. So, who would steal his shoes, in your opinion?
He says, well, it would have to be some jealous rival or someone who hates him. That describes most of Waterdeep. But as far as who would actually be willing to go through with it, he thinks about it, he's like, my guess would be that Master Stevens is your best bet. He lives down in the dock district and pretends to be a dancer for a bunch of drunken sailors. Clearly he doesn't have standards. I imagine it wouldn't be difficult for him to find someone who'd be willing to rob Stevenson for a few drinks. So if I were you, I'd start there. What I wouldn't do is spend more time in my private room.
I'm pretty sure the gods will smile on you for helping justice. And they turn around and leave.
So as you leave, you like push past Selsig, and he's just staring at you, Selsig. And at this
I
moment,
just-
River is walking up the stairs with Urash.
I just say, I'll be looking for talent for my new casino. I'll keep you in mind. Just go and walk out.
Okay. So River and Urash, as you were walking, this woman dressed only in a blanket went running past you out of the tavern. And so as you walk up the stairs, you see a very annoyed-looking Greta. And at the stairs, you see a rather sheepish Selsig. Well, maybe I shouldn't say annoyed. I should tell you what you feel.
I'm happy. Apparently we're good at solving mysteries. We already found out who's the master student. So let's continue. We're on a streak here.
Did you streak?
Streak,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is good. Did you steal that poor lady's clothes?
No, it has something to do with special dance lessons. Did you get the information about the shoes?
Yes.
So how do they look like?
They are wings with white and black and shiny.
And Urash says,
Okay.
I think it was wing tips, but that's pretty much right, yes.
So we're looking for winged shoes and black and white, and they're shiny.
And they have hiss on them.
They have what on them?
Hiss.
HS.
Made from snake?
His initials.
I know that, but it helps. Rita doesn't.
Humperdinck, Humperdinck, Stevenson, Urash says.
Urash said, okay.
Yeah, Urash said that, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was,
Yeah, no,
I
I wasn't me. I
confused.
wasn't me doing that. No, that was Urash.
You're usually not Urash. I have to get
I
used
know.
to this.
Listen, it's either that or player not available being silent.
I'm just like, welcome back, buddy. Oh, he's gone again. Thrown down.
He just fades out. Like,
Okay, so we talked to Master Johnson. He was actually very helpful, and he pointed us to Master Stevens down in the dock district. But I think we should maybe take a coach or something because it's really a long way. I look at my companions. Maybe somebody has an opinion.
Do they have a pony?
Who?
A coach. Do they have a pony?
If there is a pony coach, we're gonna take a pony coach.
Okay. Yay, ponies!
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 Leslie.
Yeah, team ponies. Barrels out the door.
Team pony. All right. So you folks head out the door, and outside of the tavern, the Yawning Portal, of course, there's plenty of carriages and wagons and things going in various directions. A lot of them seem to be headed north, heading all up towards presumably where the Great Ball is going to be held. But there are some that are still, just kind of sitting around. And you see a couple that are, one of them in particular, that seems to have a customer just getting out of it and is currently empty.
Okay, let's get on.
You arrive, and the cab driver turns around, literally carriage driver, cab driver, turns around. Right, what'll it be?
What was it? Penumbra Street? Does anybody remember?
I've just got docks written down. I'm not as good a note taker as Mike.
It was, hold on a second, it was in Dock Street, which is literally like here. So Dock Street is like,
Okay,
down
let's
at
go
bottom.
down to Dock Street. Dock Street, please.
and he sort of looks at all of you and he sees that a few, like, he sees that Selsig is still dressed, like, he's like, you sure? You're not really dressed for it, you know.
Like,
Yeah,
who Which one of us is not dressed for it?
Well, he is, miss. They're not really sort of polite types down there, you know.
Sounds like you have some kind of cloak maybe you could put over or something.
Point at you. Oh, did we get rid of the giant cloaks that we had? I can't remember what happened to them now.
Don't know if you'd still have those or not.
Oh no, that's like it's going back months. That. I would have a traveling cloak. I guess I can just nip back in and grab that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
let's wait for him for a moment. He's going to be right back.
All right, and you grab the thing. When you come back down, you can actually see a dressed and very flushed Master Johnson who seems to be walking sort of quickly down the stairs to speak to the bartender.
I pay that no attention. That bartender has enough reason to dislike me.
All right, and you get onto the cart. Okay, the cart drives you down and takes you by a pretty direct route, actually, going past Bazaar Street and then down here on Warrior's Way, and then to Waterdeep Way. It's rather busy on Waterdeep Way, again, with a lot of carts that are heading up in the other direction, but he manages to navigate his way through there, through Haylock Court, and then eventually onto Belambra Street, and then finally all the way down to Dock Street. And he drops you off here at Dock Street, and then says, right, that'll be 2 gold pieces for the lot.
I look at Celtic.
Of course you do. I make a big show of just pretending to fish around, digging up like 2 spare coins.
He's looking at the one person who's like dressed to the nines, like just way like,
I give him the 2 gold,
Okay.
Maybe
rumbling under my breath.
driver, maybe you could look around for some work down here because we might need to get back soon.
He says, begging your pardon, miss, but I don't look for work around here. I'm as likely to be robbed and carriage jacked as anything else. I wish you best of luck. I'll try to swing by to the north of here, perhaps in a while, but I can't be anywhere near here. They're,
Oh well.
The people are getting restless, you know. He kind of looks around himself nervously. Good luck to you, though. Yeah! And he like hits the, whips the reins on the horse, and they immediately like, clearly does not want to spend a lot of time here. And as you look around, you can actually see there are a lot of sort of rough, seedy types sort of hanging out in front of taverns. You see some people kind of wandering by with sort of torn shirts, rippling with muscles, also smelling a fair bit, kind of leering in your direction, your general direction. Various people just kind of wandering by, some of them sort of bumping into you, harsh laughter, etc.
No bumping. No bumping. I'll try to avoid bumping.
Yep, all of your stuff is lost. No, just kidding. Just joking.
Been there before, don't want to be bumped.
Yes. So, do you want to... Now, Dock Street runs mostly all the way along the sort of pier here. So the question is, where do you want to check?
I look around and I look at Celtic and I say, maybe we should ask somebody.
Who would you ask? I wouldn't trust anyone here.
Oh well, then we will just have to.
They'll tell us anything we want to hear for a gold. Doesn't mean it'll be true.
Oh well, then we just have to look for something that looks like a dancing school.
Yeah. It kind of sounded like we just listened for the drunken revelry, but that's going to be most of the street, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Let's walk.
So, as you begin to walk down the street, are you looking for someone in particular, like a type of person to ask, or like what's your target audience, basically, Celtic?
In my opinion, no one here is going to be trustworthy.
Okay, well then, I mean, like, how are you trying to find it then, I guess?
Well, either make ourselves a target. The ones who look trustworthy are probably going to be con men.
Right. And you notice that a lot of them are looking at your outfit, Celtic, as you folks walk by.
I'm trying to hunch over to minimize that exposure there, but
Right.
I suppose there's a glimpse of a gem now and again.
And as you're sort of walking along, at one point, 2 rather unattractive-looking large humans step in front of you. They are both wearing very dirty, sort of broken-down tunics, slashed leather armor, and one of them smiles through crooked and broken teeth. Oi, welcome to the Dock District. And the other one doesn't say anything. He says, Harvester here and I were just wondering if you had any places you needed to go. perhaps you had some directions you needed to find or something like that.
Well, that is very nice of you. We're looking for a dance school.
A dance school? And he sort of looks at the other one. Well, you might have come to the wrong spot of town, miss. You see, most of the dancing what folks do here is to avoid getting, let's say, their throat slit or perhaps their money taken. But it can be a dangerous place, especially for a lass like yourself. But if you were to help us out a little bit with some, perhaps a touch of coin, we could make sure that nothing bad were to happen to you. You can consider us sort of a safety measure.
Well, that's a very nice offer, but it doesn't help us much if you don't know what dance school is, so thank
Well, I'm sure we can find the dance school, but I think more to the point, you're not going to be going to find a dance school or anything else unless you pay us. That's kind of the way it goes, you see. And Selsig, make a perception check for me, please.
Right, perception.
Actually, everybody do. I'm sorry, not just Selsig. Everybody make it.
Okay. 23.
Lovely. 13, okay.
Are we gonna get set on fire again?
Oh.
Okay, wow.
What?
So River
River.
is just like, River's like, I am the one, like everything. So River and Selsig, you have this sense that something is behind you.
Flip around.
There are a group of 4 also seedy-looking individuals with hand crossbows pointed directly at you behind you.
And people wonder why we don't have any humans in our party.
Yep. And then the 2 in
Yeah.
front. The 2 in front of you, of course. And then, as they're all sort of pointed at you, you all sort of hear someone say, right, that'll be enough of this then. And you see someone lifting himself up to his full height. And you realize that, I believe this is true, Urash was already not, he was like River, not like River, like Selsig was also wearing his outfit, was he not?
I think so.
I think
I believe so,
too.
because we were essentially going straight to the ball.
So they see this orc barbarian dressed in this suit, rising above the level of all of them, like a good 1.5 foot above all of them. And the one in front, kind of his expression falls. He's like, right, well, I see that perhaps might have been a misunderstanding. And Urash pulls out his axe. He's like, oh, I don't think there was a misunderstanding. He's like, right. Never mind. My apologies for any misunderstanding that might have existed. And I think if you want to find Master Stevens, you can find him right down there at the end of the place. That's where there's a dance studio. Goodbye now. And he turns away, and like the 4 just sort of melt, like bail to all directions as they go away. And as they run, you can actually hear them sort of chattering to each other about, you're a bleeming freaking orc in a suit. You know, those nasty, it's what I'm talking about. It's one of those guards they are, or something like, so he's going on and on about like how freaky it is that this huge orc was wearing a dress suit.
I think Urash is better at diplomacy.
It's a peculiar kind of diplomacy. Thank you, Zendev. I'll turn that down a little bit.
So, let's continue.
Okay. So that should be a little bit better. So if you go down to the end of the street, and you'll find where it is that Master Stevens' place is, and you do in fact see a rough wooden sign which has what looks like it might have been a dancer's, like some kind of, like, it looks like maybe 2 people twirling together, but you notice that there's a bunch of stuff that's been scratched into it and carved, and you see 2 arrows with smiley faces that have been carved above it. So basically this looks like a sign that's been vandalized in the not too recent past, and but it clearly is standing outside of what would hopefully be this place you're looking for.
Okay, I adjust my robes and I knock. Because
Okay.
that is what I do.
Okay, so there's a moment, and then the door opens, and you see this man who's kind of like sort of disheveled, stubble, a day-old stubble of beard, right? Kind of looking at you. His breath smells of alcohol, Greta, and He's got sort of this weird kind of what looks like it might have been a fancy tunic maybe a decade ago that he's kind of wearing, and he says, "Yeah."
I look at his shoes.
His shoes look to be like normal shoes.
Okay. Good evening, Master Stevens. We are here because we're sure you want to help your old teacher, Master Stevenson.
And he says,
And I look at him.
"Master Stevens, why would I want to help that self-absorbed sot?"
No, you're Master Stevens. We're talking about helping Master Stevenson.
Yeah? Well, why would I want to help myself, Stevens guy? Because I'm a great dancer, and I don't need help from me. I don't you, and he sort of takes a moment and he like stumbles forward. He's like, "Rrr," almost like he's being threatening, and then he stumbles back. He stumbles back onto the ground and he starts snoring loudly.
You broke
Oh
him.
God, I was so afraid he would throw up.
No, he's asleep. So I just like step over him.
Exactly that. Yeah, just go straight into the studio.
Okay.
I follow and close the door.
Okay.
Okay, maybe we should carry him to bed.
Inside Selsig and crew, there is one, what looks like a person, like a halfling, who seems to be doing some lessons and kind of is staring wide-eyed at the now prone and unconscious form of whoever this is, presumably Master Stevens, and is looking at you with wide eyes.
What kind of shoes is he wearing?
These just seem to be normal shoes as well.
Okay, whenever I meet somebody now, I want to stare
Look at their
their
shoes. No, I know. This is going to continue for months. No.
Roll for shoes.
Shoes.
Okay.
Shoe, King's Thunder.
Hello there. I think Master Stevens could use some help.
And the person is just sort of like the halfling is just like staring at you, like slightly shaking.
I'm dressed in my cleric robes. God damn it! Why are people so mistrusting?
Because you're carrying a mace.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yes, but it is kind of that's cultural.
It's cultural. Stop being anti-cultural with your
Dwarves are their cultural
hatred of
background.
mazes. Oh man, this is not a ceremonial maze. You can grab that, to be clear.
Wave at the kid. I'll be like, "Hi, hello."
And it's not a kid, but it is a halfling.
The halfling.
And the halfling says, the halfling sort of says, is everything? What happened? They look very anxious. It's not really clear though that they're scared of you. They just seem generally anxious. Master Stevens said that this was the place to go for dance, and sort of stares up you. Game Drunks, of course, is now following GOG. Welcome, Game Drunks, of course. It's very appropriate. Very appropriate. Sort of looks at you basically, Chai, since you're, I'm sorry, River, because you addressed the halfling first, addressed her first.
You don't need to worry about. He's asleep in the hallway. Do you have any shoes?
And she says, shoes? No. And you look down and you see that she's just got like hairy feet, as is the standard often for halflings, but not wearing shoes.
Does he have any shoes, but not on his feet?
He has shoes. Well, he's wearing shoes. As far as other shoes, there's lots of shoes that are sort of laid around the side of this room. This is also a room that has a mirror with a rail, but it's like much smaller, and some of the mirrors have cracks, and the rails, like one of the railings looks to be not quite attached right to the mirror, etc.
Okay. Well.
Let's start poking through the shoes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we just need to start examining.
Holding my nose because I doubt any of them smell too nice.
And the halfling says, "Hey, wait, you can't. That's not yours. Not yours."
Don't worry, we're not gonna take anything that belongs to Master Stevens.
And she says, What did he do? What did he do?
we were just here to ask him to help us because his former teacher, Master Stevenson, lost something, and we thought that maybe Master Stevens could help us, but he fell asleep.
And she, he goes, right, and she says, "Oh, well, he's not." Thank you for the follow, one more. Welcome to the GOG family. He says, "Well, I don't. Master Stevens is a It sort of just goes off on this for a while. Dance teacher. Why would he steal from take the shoes?"
What? We never said anything about that.
And then she takes a step back. "Oh no! Oh, I didn't mean. I didn't mean. I said. This seems like it will go on in a loop for a long time."
Like walk up to her, put my hands on her shoulders, and be like, "Shh."
And she stops immediately.
Where
Thank
are
you,
they?
And she says, wait, "No, I don't know. I swear I don't know. I don't know. He didn't say. He didn't say. He didn't say."
So we know he has.
Well, no, it was a plot.
Okay.
I look around. Can I see any kind of bottles of alcohol that Master Stevens might have been drinking?
Yes, several of them that are lined up on the wall next to the shoes.
Is
Some of
any
them
of that-
closed, most of them open.
Is any of that strong stuff?
Oh yeah, there's definitely some strong stuff there. There's one thing called Orc's blood, which you've just heard rumors about. Even Urash
That's
is
good.
like, you don't
Okay.
want to.
No, I don't. I'm not. I take something that does not look deadly.
Is
And-
Oxford worth a lot?
No, unless you want to render someone unconscious in a very short period of time. Then
I take the Oxford.
sounds good. It happens to be one of the only closed bottle that's there.
I hand it to the halfling and I said, would this help with your stutter if you just drink a little bit and maybe feel calmer afterwards?
And she says, "Oh, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. Can I?"
Yes, it's medicinal.
And she kind of she looks at you and then nods and then opens it and then like like
No,
bam,
no,
knocks it down and just like, wow, that's I don't. It's amazing. I can't believe how good that tastes. Oh, I just spoke in a full sentence. I just spoke in a complete sentence. It's a miracle. I can everything. Oh, my head feels strange. Is that supposed to happen? That my head feels strange? I'm speaking in full sentences. I'm not stuttering at all. This is the most amazing experience. I feel really weird though. I might pass out any moment. I think that's going to happen pretty soon.
Where are the shoes? Where are the shoes?
I'm getting in pretty soon. And she says, the shoes. Oh, the shoes. Yes. Well, let me tell you about those shoes. It was a plot, you see. It was all between two of them. See, Master Stevens told me. They were so sick of Master Stevenson. They were so tired of hearing from him that they got together, Master Stevens and Master Johnson, and they said they were going to prove it once and for all. So they had someone else take the shoes from him, and they said that they were going to take those shoes and make sure that they were never found again. And so they were going to bring them somewhere to be destroyed. And then they were going to reveal them at the last moment. But then the problem is that Master Johnson and Master Stevens don't completely trust each other, you see, and they thought that each one was going to try to swindle the other. So they basically both tried to tell the person that they hired to put it somewhere else. And now all that I know is that I heard Master Stevens kind of muttering to himself before he got drunk again, because he usually does that they put it somewhere in Courtyard of the Well. That's up to the north of the market, and you can find it there, which is important because I think if you're going to find these shoes, both these people work together. It wasn't Master Johnson, by the way. It was the guy who works for him that he had do it. What's his name? Robert? Ralph?
Yes.
Reginald? Me. And just face plants forward.
Well, did anybody get that?
You broke her.
We need to go to a well.
Yes, something like that, right?
Did he want us to bring the people to him? I forgot. Did he just want the names of who did it, or did he actually want them brought to him?
He wants them brought to them because he was angry at them, but I think if we do that, we might not get our dancing lessons.
Yeah, maybe we could just give him the names and he can let the guards sort it out. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Petty disputes like this, not things going missing, things like that. This is what they're there for.
I was thinking maybe
It's
we
actually
should tie them
echoing
up for
'cause
the
they're both
guards,
doing
but I feel like being tied up in this part of town might be really dangerous, so maybe not.
I get the feeling this guy falls asleep here all the time.
Just money. Just failed life.
Okay.
I think we should go.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we're intruding on their privacy.
Yeah.
They should have a nice long nap.
Yeah.
Okay, so you folks are heading out, and where are you going specifically?
Where's
Courtyard of the well.
Okay,
I see it's hang on.
I can point it out if you don't know where it is.
think
I
it's-
just noticed there's a stabbed sailor alley. I love this. I love this city.
My
That's the
gosh.
best. Oh man, I should totally have placed something there. Oh well.
Next time. There will always be a next
There'll always be a next time.
You'll have to dress up as sailors.
Next time one of you misses, I'll just take you all to stab Sailor Alley. Oh, thank you, Genly and James. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, courtyard of the well. I found it.
You found it? Yeah, it's right up here.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can find a coach.
All right. So when you go out, I'm just gonna. Yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. My tremendous drawing ability. Let's try that again. So there we go. So when you go outside to find a coach, and again, you're all the way back down here, pretty far down, right about here, roughly speaking. There are no coaches to be found, but there are, you notice, at the very end of the street, so like up this way, a group of people that seem to be gathering, and it looks like a lot of guys who sort of seem like the ones who confronted you. They seem to be tough guys. You notice a lot of tattoos, ripped shirts, kind of rakishly tilted hats, skull caps in some cases. You see like a bunch of, you may see a few of them holding blackjacks, but there's a whole group of them, and they seem to be sort of gathering, looking down in the direction of the studio up here.
We might want to go very fast the opposite direction.
Yeah, but maybe they're gonna hurt the halfling girl.
I think they're more likely to hurt us.
We should do something about that. We
You
can't just
suddenly
let them
see
be
them
hurt.
sort of flail at, like waving at you and pointing, and you see them, and then they start walking towards you. There's probably a good 30 to 40 people there, if you had to guess.
I walk towards the dance studio and
Well, you're
stand in
standing right
front of
outside the
door.
dance studio right now.
Okay, that's good. I'm standing here.
Okay, they are walking
Don't
towards
get
you.
us in a siege.
They're walking towards you. 30, 40 of them maybe.
At least if we all die, I get a reroll character.
Scrooge Joyman comes back next month. So what did I miss? Well, we're all new characters. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. We all got pummeled.
Then
I ready a spell.
okay, just as you see them reaching just before the block before you, so basically roughly here, you hear this sort of laughing, and then you see about 4 heavily armed guards walking out, and they seem to be talking as if they've just come out of a tavern, and then they're like, "Oi, oi, hey Reggie, what are you doing there?" And the one who's been like, "We're going to take care of some business," and he says, "No, you're not with a mob. What is all this? What are you doing? Didn't I run you in last week?" Now, all of these guys, there's like 40 of them, as I said, but these 4 guards are heavily armed, like armed, like with halberds and the whole 9 yards. And although they look like they've been having a good time, they definitely don't look as if they are no longer capable of using the weapons. And so they sort of say, "I'm asking you to clear out for the last time, Regger. We've got business down here." "No, you don't have business right at the moment. Your business is back in your homes. Besides, your missus came looking for you, and if she finds you gone again, you're not going to survive getting out of a divorce. Now turn around and move the other way." And so they're all kind of like... And then finally they start to reluctantly kind of move back and disperse, kind of, "Stupid city guards." And they start to disperse. And the guards sort of turn around, like looking around, and then they look and they catch sight of all of you standing there.
Yeah. So,
What are you doing?
I'm
Just staying there still?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm waiting until the mob is like really.
Oh, they are
Far
dispersed
away.
pretty much now, but the guards now start walking towards you.
That's fine.
Comes to you, and
I mean, we have not stolen anything, have we?
Celsig frantically like empties his pockets. No, it's
Stolen
fine. And finally gets to the door and says, "Is there any problem here?"
No, actually not. It's just that we were here looking for dance lesson with Master Stevens, and he fell asleep, and we were a little bit afraid that the mob might get into the house, and that Master Stevens would not be able to defend himself. So, but now that it's resolved, and we are on our way.
He says, "Right. Well, just before you go, why exactly would you be trying to protect Stevens? I mean, there's nothing against the fellow, but truthfully, I can dance better than him half drunk. Are you friends or related to him?"
I stare at him. I'm a cleric of Faltos. It's the right thing to do to protect people.
And he says, "Oh, right. Oh, yeah, you have the card, don't you? Friends
we
of the
do.
City Guard, 2018. Or 2795 VR, yeah. So they're like, well, all right then. And he sort of looks at all of you. Urash in his suit, the Orc Barbarian, looks at you, River, the Dragonborn, kind of takes you all in and says, "Well, you certainly look like a group that belongs in the docks. All right, be off with you, please. I'll close up here." Master Stevens usually just falls asleep in his door.
Okay.
And so, assuming that you go off that way, do you? I'm guessing.
I go. The guard's taking over. Justice is done. Everything's fine.
Nobody needs to get pummeled.
Nobody needs to get pummeled. All right. So you head your way out. Unfortunately, however, there is not really much of a cart to be found, and you notice now the time is beginning to move on. If you're right, you've got about maybe an hour and a half now before the ball actually starts.
Good.
So if you are going to walk it as far as you can, do you want to do that, or what? Like, you can see for yourself what the map looks like. So tell me what you think. In case you're curious, the two big roads are the High Road and the Way of the Dragon are the two widest, but those are also the most used. You could try to go back up Snail Street, but Snail Street is aptly named as it's narrower and sometimes has a lot of people in it. There does seem to be a fair group of people heading north, as has been the case for the last couple hours.
Well, we need some kind of coach. We're gonna be late otherwise. Maybe we can find a driver from earlier. He said he was going to go north.
Unless he got pummeled.
Unless he got pummeled, but maybe they would be still pummeling if they started pummeling, so we might have a chance.
True, we might be able to save him from pummels.
That would be good,
True.
wouldn't it?
Save pummels.
Save pummels.
Okay, what is this drawing that's next to my circle? What
Yeah,
is
who
this?
did that? I don't know.
Try to-
I didn't draw that.
No, not me.
That's a well.
Oh, it's a well.
That's a well.
I was curious.
Oh, well.
Well. All right.
With a little bucket hanging above it.
So I see the. There's the
I'm
bucket.
sorry.
It looked like a bucket above which, like, a Pokemon is suspended. I wasn't sure exactly what that was. I want to point out that is considerably better than any bucket I could have done, though. All right, so you head north. And today you learned snails are narrow and have lots of people in them. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what snail streets do. All right, so you head north, walking some of the way. You are finally able to pick up a coach somewhere around Bazaar Street, and it costs you about a gold piece to get up to the courtyard of the well. That gold piece is probably highway robbery, but you don't have time to think too much about it, I suspect, when you actually arrive at the courtyard of the well. So the courtyard of the well is so named because there is a set of buildings around the inside sort of open space, a grassy area, and there is a well right in the middle of it, which is well known as being kind of like a wishing well, where people will come in and, you know, throw coins in and bring people that they're just married to and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
Despite the mention of coins, I am not diving in the well.
So when you enter, you can see that there is currently one person sort of standing at the well, and they're just tossing coins down every few seconds. Like they seem to be whispering something to themselves and then toss a coin down, whispering and then toss a coin down. Other than that, the courtyard just seems to have a couple of people around the outside of it, but no one next to the well.
Okay. Can we look in the well, see if there's like a box or shoes or something?
Sure. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
Oh god. I don't see anything.
You definitely see a well, though. Like, you know
Yeah, there's a
wells,
well there.
and this is a well. And there's a bucket somewhere, too. Like, probably. No question about it. Hanging from a rope. Actually, the one thing you do know is that the bucket is currently lowered all the way to the bottom.
Oh,
I try and raise the bucket.
So you start raising it, like, but the crank is very, like, resistant. Like, you struggle. And it seems to be stuck.
I was going to say I use oil, but that's all of my gear at the tavern.
I look at the
Give me a hand with
who's-
this.
I look at the person throwing stuff in there. What is the person throwing stuff in there throwing in there?
It looks to be just like silver coins. It is a what looks to be actually a gnome female, and she just kind of like she's talking to herself. Can't really hear it, and then ding, and you hear the coin ding, 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 psh, like hits water at the bottom.
Excuse me, good lady.
And she's yes, what is it, dearie? And then throws down another coin.
We did you maybe see somebody here trying to hide something? We're looking.
Oh, everyone's always trying to hide something in here, dearie. And then throws another coin in.
Sorry.
Do you mean who tried to hide something today? Because this week there's been at least 6 things thrown down there. Throws the coin.
Seriously?
Oh, yes. And throws another coin.
Wow. Okay, no, I did not expect that. Yes, but we mean today, like in the last few hours. Have you been here in the last few hours?
Oh, I'm always here. Throws another coin.
Okay. And did somebody come here and do suspicious things in the last few hours?
And she says, always suspicious, dearie. But, I'm not supposed to talk about that much. Throws another coin. You see, I'm the keeper of the well here. It's my job to make sure that the well is being properly taken care of. And she tosses another coin down. And that means that I've got to use discretion.
Okay.
Throws another coin down the well.
And so the well being properly cared of, that means nobody's allowed to throw stuff in?
And she says, well, almost no one. She says, I'm the one who decides if something can be thrown in there, and if so, whether I saw it or didn't see it, if you catch my meaning. And then tosses another coin. And you now notice that she's got like this massive, fairly, like pouch of coins. Like, I mean, it looks filled to bursting with coins that she's tossing.
What kind of shoes is she wearing?
Normal shoes.
Okay.
He's a gnome.
She's got they look like clown shoes, like she's actually wearing them.
She's padded them with coins.
So did you decide to see somebody throw shoes into the well tonight?
And she says, shoes, eh? And she tosses, well, I don't rightly know if I did, dearie. It would, it's really something about getting older. Sometimes my memory leaves me. But you know what always brings it back, dearie? And toss another coin. A few extra coins to go in my pouch always seems to jog my memory. Toss.
I look at Sals like,
What? It's your conversation. I'm looking down the well.
Why don't we just
Yep.
go for a swim? Why don't we just go for a swim?
would we be allowed to have a look down your well, good lady?
She says, well, you could try, and you'd be stuck there forever. You see,
Why?
the well is slippery and also not very big. None of you big people would fit in there, except maybe you, dearie. And she points to you. Unfortunately, at the bottom, there's a very deadly contact poison. One of the things at the bottom of the well is a bunch of skeletons from people who thought they might find some of the things down there, you see. Tosses another coin. Another coin.
That does not sound very
It's a little
healthy.
extreme.
I don't think that would be allowed.
Could anyone do a dex check and just like take the coin, just pluck it from the air when she flings it?
I would never steal somebody's coin.
Nah, but I know someone might.
There's someone here, someone in this group.
Now, River, the key to stealing is not doing it in front of everyone.
Toss.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have good dex, I don't think.
Toss
I
again.
fumble in my pockets until I find 2 silver coins and I give it to her.
That's
so about
right.
those shoes.
And she says, "That's what I'm talking about, dearie. Yes, I did actually see someone throw some shoes in there. He was kind of a tall fellow. Didn't smile much. Spoke in an accent like this. Which way is the well? Where may I find the well? I don't know what's wrong with him. But anyway, I just pointed to the only well in the place." And she kind of raises her hands and shrugs. And she said, "He tosses in a few coins, tosses in the shoes, tosses me a few coins. No one's anything the wiser." And tosses another coin. "Until now, that is."
Okay, we need to get these shoes out of the well. Any idea?
"Oh, well, I can get them for you, dearie, no problem." And tosses them down. "However, I'll need a little bit of reimbursement." Tosses it down.
For the shoes.
"Well, for my trouble. I've got to go down there and get it, you know." Toss.
Well, aren't you just throwing the coins in the well?
And she says, "Well, you could say that. They're a kind of insurance policy." Tosses the coin again.
Are you just making a bed of coins so you don't touch the poison?
"Oh, you've got such a fertile imagination, you do. I love it when people come up with funny ideas. No, dearie, I'm just tossing the coins in there as insurance, like I say." Toss. Toss.
So how do you get stuff out of the well?
"Oh, why do you care about that so long as I get what you need? You'll have to describe it for me careful because I'm pretty sure there's some other piles of shoes down there too." Toss.
I drop a silver coin in the well.
Okay, when you toss the silver coin down the well, you hear this, and then what sounds like "ptoo!" and the coin goes shooting out of the top of the well. Like you have to whoa, get your head out of the way. The coin goes flying up in the air, and then and it's coming down and lands right in the gnome's hand. And she shakes her head. "I love it when people try that. It's always fun to see their faces." And then tosses a coin into the well.
Okay, I'm
What
pretty
kind
sure this
of wishy well is this?
this is a kind of wishing well that should not be allowed within city limits.
"It's a water-deep well, dearies. Don't judge a culture you don't understand. That's not right. Do I judge you for carrying around a mace with that cloak of yours, dearie?" Voices like Greta.
I don't know. Do
I
you?
told you.
Live and let live.
Do you judge me?
No,
For the
dearie.
mace?
I don't judge you. And the more money you give me, the less I'm likely to judge. Toss.
So how come the well's not spitting coins back at you?
That's a good question, dearie. And it's one that I'd love to answer, but then I'd have to kill you, and none of us want that. Tosses the coins in there. "Look, if you want these shoes, I don't know why, by the way, they're just a black and white shoes, those shiny types, but if you want them back, a couple of coins can make it happen."
How many?
She says, "Well, let's see. The shoes aren't worth very much. Plus, I kind of like you, especially her." She points to River. "Especially her. She comes up with such great ideas, and you made me laugh already." Pointing to you, Celsig. "So, I suppose I can let it go for 3 gold." Tosses it down. Tosses it down.
There's 3 of us.
You say that like I have money. I have 5
Boy.
silver. It's all my money.
That's not bad, dear. Now, if only that was gold, you'd be set.
I just go, I'll start a tab, pull out a piece of paper and make a note.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Greta? Am I adding to your tab?
No. I take out a gold coin.
Okay, I'll cover River then.
All right. So also, Urash, if you want to have him one, just sort of put a note to do that, like remind him.
I don't think I
Probably
don't think
has no-
Ulrich
Does he have no gold? I guess not.
don't
I guess
think-
not.
he doesn't handle the gold part of things. Well, they
Spends it
could
all on
certainly
healing
try to
potions.
stab the gnome. I mean, we'll see. And she says, right. And she kind of, she bites the coin in the teeth trick, to make sure. It's like, oh, seems good then. And you see, all of a sudden, she sort of leaps very spryly from the ground up to the side of the well, grabs the rope, winks, and then just with one hand, like down into the well. So you just wait. Actually, I don't know. What do you do? Do you just stand there?
You didn't tell her what the shoes look like.
She already knew.
She already knew, apparently.
Oh, okay.
I'm sticking my head down there trying to see what's going on.
So you see some motion and some activity, and then all of a sudden you hear this rumbling. It seems to be getting louder, Celsic.
Pull my head back rather quickly.
Just
'cause
as
I'm
you get your head back, there is this eruption of coins. And on the top of what looks like this fountain of coins, laughing, chuckling, is the gnome woman who's literally standing on top of this like fountain of coins. And she says, "Took a little while, but I found it for you," as the sound is like making, and the coins begin to gradually sink. And as they gradually sink, you can see that they almost seem to be pouring over as if they're making like a little bit of a ramp to the ground. And she walks down the ramp of coins to the ground, whereupon the rest of the coins fall into the well. And she grins at you and says, "Right, I think these are what you were looking for." And she holds over a pair of shoes, which are shiny. They have black and they have black tips, white shoes, very shiny, and they look like they've been resurfaced. And on the back, you can see 2 rune letters printing out the letters HS.
Okay. We got the shoes. Let's learn how to dance. Thank you very much, lady.
She says, "Oh, it's my pleasure, dearie. Come back anytime. There's some good sneakers down there, too." He picks up some coins and starts tossing them back into the well.
It's alright, this party's already got a good sneaker, and I walk off.
"I like what you did there. That's funny. You come back anytime. He's a funny one, he is." Tosses it down. Okay. Now, are you folks headed directly back to Master Stevenson, or are you going to Master Johnson's for what are you doing?
Wow, Master Stevenson seems to be where the shoe should go. We can't go back to our inn, and when we go back, we should really have a stern talk with the innkeeper, because apparently, considering what Master Johnson was doing, Master Johnson is turning the inn into a whorehouse. We have to be careful. So let's go back to Master Stevenson.
Great.
The propriety of this tavern is stinky.
Oh man, I just thought of 5 jokes. I won't make any of them. All right, so here we go. Yeah, exactly. The economy only grows if there's an exchange of coins. This well creates poverty. Yeah. All right, so you folks head up back north again to Soul Street, or back up Soul Street, I should say, to Skulls Street. And when you get back to Master Stevenson's place, the door again is closed. You're now only about an hour before the ball is meant to start. And so the door is locked, or I should say closed, not locked, but closed.
Wait, what?
Okay, I'm gonna supersede Greta and just stick my head in and go, Humperdinck!
And you hear, "Oh God!" No, it's from the upside, and then all of a sudden you see there's a couple of one sheet of paper goes flying down the stairs and rests on the floor, and he's like, "Yes, hello."
We got your shoes.
"My shoes! What?"
Uh-huh.
And he come and you hear stumbling and you see almost falling down the stairs with a bunch of papers sort of trailing in his wake. You see stumbling down the stairs is Master Stevenson. The place itself looks more clear, or at least it did before these papers there. He gets to the bottom. "Oh, what? You have the shoes? Do you?"
Uh-huh.
"Oh, this is spectacular."
Who grabbed them?
And so do you give them to him?
I don't know if I'm the one who has them.
You have them.
I have them? Okay, yes, I hand them over.
So he takes them. He says, "Oh, my lovelies! Oh, at last! Wonderful, wonderful!" And you can see that he's had just socks on this whole time. And even though the shoes themselves have kind of like some mud on them and like some, you know, like there's stuff. And as he puts on one shoe, he's like, oh, blast it. And he takes it and he shakes out a couple of coins from the inside of the shoe. He's like, where exactly did you get these?
The coins.
Oh, we just
Oh, never mind. And he just puts the
bent
shoe
over
on.
and pick up the coins.
So he gets, he's like, never mind, and he puts the shoe on, starts lacing it up, and then he stands. He said, yes, that is precisely what was needed. And he goes over to the side, and as he walks over, you can see that he walks with a kind of inner grace. There's kind of just a spectacular, almost sort of easy quality to him, is basically the way you would say, as he walks over to one of the mirror, to the side of the wall there, and you actually see that there's a wooden box that you didn't notice before, which is just sort of hooked into the wall, and he presses some button in the side of it, and you hear this, and then you hear this. Oh, that's right. You can't hear that yet. God damn it. Never mind. Sorry. I was like, why are you not reacting? Okay, here we go. That's more like it. Do you hear that now?
Yeah.
And he begins to dance around gracefully. Now he spins and he twirls, and you have to admit, now this guy may seem like a bit of a fop, and he may seem like a bit of a weirdo, but this dude can literally, no joke, can dance. Like, he's just like twirling around and like just making these crazy maneuvers and all this stuff. Does so gracefully within rhythm all the time. Like he's just doing all this stuff. You're like, wow, this is pretty amazing. Like, he continues to do this work, like just does this stuff. And then there is a moment where he stops and he looks at you and winks. And he begins to twirl even faster. And now he goes past and he grabs you, River, or if you allow him to,
I'll let him.
by the hand, and he begins to twirl you around. Now I would like you, River, to make a dexterity check for me, or acrobatics if you've got that.
Yeah. Which one is better? Let's see right away. Ow! That's not too bad.
Let's see what you got. All right. Yeah, you're able to keep up with him. He twirls and he says, now it's a waltz, my dear, a waltz. Now think about this. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and 2, 3, and yes. Now move along. And as he's doing this, oddly, River, you begin to feel yourself sort of twirling with the music, as he continues to move you around like this. And he says, yes, lovely. And now the pièce de résistance. You must be able to inhabit the dance. You must be the dance, my dear. Allow yourself to spin. Allow yourself to soar. And he throws you, basically letting your hand go and spinning you in place. Now, here I'm going to ask you a question. You have several options. You could jump. You could continue to spin. You could sink to the ground. How do you want to do your dance move? He didn't tell you what to do. What are you doing?
Let's live big, right? Let's try jumping.
Okay. Make an athletics check for me, please, or strength if you don't have that. This is not a saving throw. This is a check.
Yeah. Let's see. That's gonna be good. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. Wow, I didn't fail that. I'm surprised.
All right. You jump in the air very gracefully as you spin, and everyone sees your scales sparkle, right, as you sort of jump in the air, your tail whipping around. Celsig, you barely get out of the way before the tail hits you in the face. You're like, oh, like, spinning around.
Theme today.
And then you land on the ground and sort of just stick the landing as you hit. And there's just a moment's silence, and then, Yes, bravissima, bravissima. You are certainly wasted in this adventuring life. You must become my student. Join me, River. Together we can make beautiful music and dancing together. I'll show you off to that idiotic Master Johnson and Master Stevens. They attempt to rob me of my shoes, but I have gained more than shoes. I have gained talent. And you, and he sort of opens his eyes and stares at you, Greta. You, my dear, are clearly part of the mix as well. And he grabs you, if you allow him.
Yeah, I know that I have to learn to dance, so yes.
Okay, so I'd like you to make an acrobatics check first.
Yes, you would like it.
In cleric gear.
Well, so he spins you around, and the reaction that we get instead of what we were hoping for is something probably more akin to, let's see.
It's like finding the appropriate music. This is lovely.
All right, here we go. So, as you hit the ground, you hear this stomp, stomp. Like as you're hitting the ground, he's like, "No, lighter, my dear. No, your feet, my dear. Up, lift. You're a feather on the wind, my dear. No, you're not in the ground. You're not an aardvark. Up in the ground, up above. Spin. What is it you said, Faltus? Like, dear God, doesn't Faltus have anything? Do you fight in? What is this nonsense? And eventually,
I brought back your shoes. Do something.
So you start stumbling around, Greta, and then he's like, "What is this?" And then he stops and he looks. And as you're doing this, you notice that you're like, he's like, "Well, it's not traditional, really, but." And he watches you as you're like stumbling around and somehow keeping in some kind of rhythm. Somehow you're fitting this rhythm. He's like, "But it's actually rather brilliant. Boom, boom." And you're kind of like falling all over yourself, but somehow managing to keep in rhythm as you do it. He says, I see. This must be one of your religious dances then. Faltus has given you this ability, has he? I need to speak to this Faltus. If so, is this your dance, my dear?
I don't know. Is this my dance?
As you're walking around like the maze, it's like you're like, it could possibly work. I don't know how, but people are going to have to stick with it for a few minutes and not assume that you're a lunatic or having a seizure. But assuming that they don't, well, you'll be able to stay with them. I actually think it's workable.
Okay, I keep doing this. I just keep doing this.
All right, he says, now, listen, that dance will do no good if there's no one there dancing with you. And he shoves you, Selsig, forward so that you fall forward practically into Greta's arms. So I need you to make a dexterity check for me as well, Selsig.
Dexterity check. Okay.
Sorry, Aardvark.
22.
I'm sorry. I feel attacked. I'm sorry. I didn't mean you personally, Aardvark. I'm sorry. Oh, man. So, Selsig, you are like, you're not sure what she's doing exactly, but you just try to stick with it. And you notice that it's gotten a little faster. But you're staying with it. You're just like dancing around. And you're like, and he's just like, yes, that's brilliant. Yes, right, exactly. And then you jump up there, right, as if you're avoiding the tripwire, right, and then you duck the person aiming at your head. Yes, that's right. And then through there, yes, and then you rig the roulette wheel. Yes, beautifully. Imagine yourself invest yourself in the space. Right, now you're there. Now you're avoiding the saw blade. Yes, now you're ducking to the left. Now you're pickpocketing the noble. Yes, right, and then move away from there. Then you're stumbling forward. Yes, now you're fallen trying to escape the guards. Yes, beautiful, and more magic. Now, as he's talking, Selsig, you have to admit that almost without realizing it, you're kind of beginning to enjoy this a little bit. Like, you're into it. And as he's seeing you spin around, he's kind of like, this is amazing. I'm quite stunned. But yes, you're a functional couple. I could actually see it working. It's different, certainly, but he says, but wait, there's something missing. And he looks at all of you and then he says, you, my dear, and he points at you. You don't yet have a partner. And all dancers must have partners. And now he tries to push Urash, but instead he just bangs into his back. And he's like, would you mind? You do need to go to this ball, don't you? So we're going to assume that Orash is going to try to actually go forward and do this. And so Orash joins with you. Now, would someone be willing to do me a favor and make a roll for him to see what his acrobatics check is? If he has it. If not, he probably doesn't actually. So just a dexterity check.
Wait, can
Can't bring his stats up.
Can we not?
Well, I can't view his sheet. I don't know if anyone else can. I can only view his bio, not his...
I might be able to do it. Did Greta and Celsig just get shipped? Well,
I don't think so.
I don't think. It would be funny though. All right, let's see. So he's got a 2. So dexterity would be a 2. A 2 plus.
D20 plus 2. I can do that. Hang on.
Now Chad is disappointed.
I know they're like, oh.
D20 plus 2. There we go.
Wow. So he's kind of like, this is ridiculous. I don't. And then he kind of, so River, he sort of grabs your hand and he begins to, at first incredibly stiffly, partially because he's probably actually stiff in this outfit, but then he begins to spiral sort of like a dun 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 dun. It's like, yes, exactly. Feel the combat. That's right. Imagine that you're attacking your enemies. Imagine that you're bathing them in the, whatever you call it, the blood of the blood god or something like that. But imagine that you're doing it in the service of the dance. You are a barbarian of the dance floor. You, Orash, you and you alone can bring the might of your god to everyone, one beautiful step at a time. And River, you feel that he's almost like now, as he's whirling around, kind of lifting you off the ground. Your tail is sort of flailing wildly, though, as you go. And so there is this risk where, like, there's a moment where it's like Drunken Master, you know, in a kung fu film. Like, the only way Celsig and Greta are avoiding it is because of the weird way they're dancing. So they're kind of somehow avoiding being hit by your tail as you fly more normally and that sort of thing. And so Orash is, basically exactly. Orash is just grim frowning the entire time. As you're spinning around, he says, yes, that's quite it, yes. All right, now lift higher, yes, now you must have this big finish. Remember, at this moment, you are a orc barbarian in a suit dancing with a dragonborn. You are sure to attract attention, even in the City of Splendors. So you need to finish with a big finish. This, Greta and Celsig here, they will occupy people's attention for a while, perhaps more than a while, but eventually they'll become niche. It's exactly what happened to trance music. Anyway, for you, if you can just throw yourselves up at the last second, big finish, a big throw. Now remember, my dear, as he throws you, you must soar in the air. You must become like your true kin, a true dragon. And he dances and dances and then throws you up. So what I'm going to need here is I'm going to need him to make a strength check or an athletic check. And his strength here is 20, so he's going to be doing this at +5. Also, he's got athletics, so it's an 8. So you're going to be adding 20 plus 8 to this, if you would, Celsig.
8. There we go. Booyah!
Wow! He critically hit. So he just, like, tosses her. Now, he throws you way in the air, okay, River? Like, you were like, don't want to close my eyes. Like, you were just way, exactly, arms stretched, like, you know, I believe I can fly. So you're just, I can't believe he crit that. So you're up in the air like this, and then you are coming down. Now we need you to stick the landing. So he's like, big finish, my dear. You're a dragon. Land like one. And here I need you to make an acrobatics check for me, please. Well,
Chat, somebody help her, inspire her.
Can someone inspire her, chat? Because you can inspire her if you support me on my Patreon at a certain level. If there's anyone here, like Nonstop, or anyone like that who is part of my general group, if you are here, Nonstop is here. Nonstop, do you want to? I don't want to call you out, but you're, you know.
What if I just fail it again, even with an inspire?
Well, that could be. Well, we'll see. Exactly, splat. We'll see.
Splat.
I think last time we got inspiration, I managed to catch a moving horse after being thrown by Orash. So.
Wow.
I jumped a bridge.
You jumped a bridge. That's true. There have been a lot of good things that have happened in this campaign out of Inspires. It's true.
Yes.
I managed to climb up a bed.
We're given a. I'll give you a T-1.
T-1.
2.
Just like land on my face.
2 more, 4, 5. Okay. You're a dragon land like one. Yeah, so exactly. So so you go up, and then now the question is, you're going to hit the ground. The question is, do you want to embrace the ground, like face plant? Or what are we looking at here?
I don't know, like how bad do you think that fail is? Because like I feel like I would almost make it and then like fall.
That's fair. So well, let's say it that way. You almost fail. Or you almost make it. So you sort of hit the ground on one ground. You're like, yeah! And then your foot slips on the far too slippery floor, really. And you topple over and wha-bam, smash. You hit the ground. You are going to take a point of damage. You hit the ground, and there's an echoing boom, and he sort of looks around, and then like 5 seconds later, one piece of paper comes fluttering down from the top of the stairs again, and flutters and just lands on top of you. And he says, well, the dismount needs a bit of work, but in general, I think that was a overwhelming success. Yes, I think that I've actually done it. I didn't think that I could work this many miracles, but I've been able to. I believe you are ready for the ball. Now, here's the key, my friends. When you go to that ball, let me start up the regular music again. When you go to that ball, I want you to remember that you are not just there to dance. You're there to perform. You see, my friends, we live in a dark time, in a dark place. And there are times when we are so focused on the fear of the future that we've forgotten to live in the present. Remember as you dance that you are investing your body with yourself and the world. You are one with these things. You can believe yourself to be free of your troubles and care for just a little while. You can, in short, truly live. How many can really say that? And he gets a big smile on his face as he helps you up. And he says, now, I must get myself situated and ready and dressed for the ball. I will follow you over there. Once you arrive, you will be admitted, assuming you have your invitations, I assume. You'll be admitted to meet Lord Roaringhorn himself. Now, if you make an impression on him, if you dance particularly well, he may invite you to stand or sit with his party. And then you can speak to him as much as you like. But the key is to invest yourself with the dance first. Now, go forward, my friends, and soar.
Just, Master Stevenson?
Yes.
When you're at the ball, you might take care not to get too close to Master Johnson and Master Stevens. Just, be careful.
He says, oh, why? Well, what has happened to them?
They stole your shoes.
And he says, those incompetents. And he kind of...
Well, it was not
both
Master...
of them did?
Technically, it was Reginald.
Reginald?
Yes.
Do you mean that simpering fop that Master Johnson employs?
The very same.
Interesting. Do you know why Reginald would have been interested in stealing my shoes?
Well, maybe because he believes that without the shoes, Master Johnson would be the best dance teacher at the ball?
He doesn't care about Master Johnson. He works with him because he wishes to be close to the place that he once ruled. There was a time when he was the finest dancer in Waterdeep, and my finest student. But then, he began to use his powers of dance, let us say, and began to train people for the wrong things. He robbed people blind, stole their money from them, managed to get other people in all sorts of difficulty with him. He abused his power as a dancer, until I had had enough. I defeated him in a contest of dancing. He was disgraced, and ever since that time he has desired revenge upon me. I thought, though, that he had been neutralized, was successfully humbled. Apparently I was wrong. So, Reginald, you attempted to get your revenge, but sadly your revenge failed in the sight of the glory of my dancing and, of course, this wonderful party. Thank you, and he bows to you. Thank you. I am most grateful to you for having discovered what has happened. If I see Reginald again, I will deal with him separately. But for the meantime, my shoes are back, and that is what matters. Now you hear a dong, dong, and basically this is like half a bell. So you know now you got about 30 minutes, roughly. And he's like, well, the ball is starting in 30 minutes. You had better be off now. All of you have to get dressed. Surely you're not going in that. And he waves at your cloak, Greta. He's like, and as lovely as you look, my dear, pointing to you, River, he's like, I think you're going to need to wear a dress. I think that might work.
I have a pretty dress.
Very well. Well, you can change upstairs.
Okay.
On you go. He sort of shoos you like your children. All right, shoo, upstairs. Go ahead and get dressed. As for you, wait down there for them. What?
My dress is at the inn.
What do you mean their dress is at
Is
the
it?
inn?
Or is it? No, we took it with
No,
us,
I think you
didn't
took
we?
it with you.
Yeah,
I've got my dress here. I've got my dress here. Everything's fine. I've got it here.
He's like,
But we
very
still
well.
have
Well,
these-
get dressed right now. You must look the part and enter at the right time.
When is
Okay.
the right time?
We later need to take these silver coins back to the well lady.
And he says, the well late. What?
The silver coins that fell out of your shoes, they belong to an old lady at the well.
You mean the courtyard of the well?
Yes.
He blinks. Oh my. All right, we'll talk about that later. On you go. Get up in the dress. Let's move. Come on. Come. 111. Let's go. And he begins to clap like sort of,
I look at River. You help me into my dress. I'll help you into yours.
Yeah.
All right. So you all head upstairs, get dressed. When you come down, you both look radiant. Urash and Selsig are ready to go. And he says, very well, very well. He, in the meantime, is only half. He doesn't have his tie and, like, his cravat and his vest sort of prepared yet. He says, I will follow right after you. You know the path, my dears. Simply head out that direction and then right up Skull Street into the Hero's Walk. There you will see where the ball is. Now remember, my friends, own the dance floor. Your floor is yours tonight to soar. I'll be right there.
Okay. Soaring and owning the dance floor. I think you've got that down, River.
So
Yeah.
he, as you all head out and walk down the street, sort of all dressed and ready to go, you see him sort of smile and grin as he sort of looks at you leave it as you're walking towards the place. And just as you are coming up to the entrance to the ball, which has this line of people waiting to get in and all this stuff, you hear this breathless sound of someone behind you, Greta. And you hear someone saying, I never thought I would make it in time. I'm curious if you have room for someone of my obvious ability. I am here and ready to dance with you, if needed. I'm open-minded about it, at any time.
What?
This is personal.
I'm going to regret this so much. I turn around.
You see the very disheveled but somewhat tux-wearing, you think, outfit of Cantabus Redbeard, dwarven monk from the inn, who looks at you and says, every dwarf must have a partner. Shall we dance? And with that, I'm going to call this session to a close.
It was either going to be him or Maradona.
Oh man.
Well, it could be so much. It could all be so much worse. It could be somebody from the Harpers, so it's fine. It's fine.
At least it's not the Harpers. Oh my God. Nice work, folks. Nice work. I hope everyone had fun. You guys did very well. Thank you for. It makes such a difference when players play. Everyone plays off each other's. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I know the cliffhangers. I know. I gotta leave stuff for Urash, man. I gotta leave stuff for Urash too. And also, I got to give way to Dango Kitty, who's joining us in just a few minutes. Thank you, Gender. I hope you folks enjoyed this in chat, because I really did playing with these folks. I'm going to start, as I usually do, with Tasty Chai at the bottom. Wonderful stuff today, Chai. I loved the spinning and even the face plant. It was all good stuff. How'd you feel about things, and where will the folks see you next?
Oh, I loved it. I'm just mad that I stuck that landing, but River had to mess it up at some point.
I know, it was so good up to that. I wanted you to crit it too, but it was stood up. At least you didn't crit fail it, so
Yeah, it's true. I could have got a 0,
Right.
so at least we had that. Actually, strangely, I will not be continuing to stream tonight because I am totally wrecked, but I will be live again on my personal channel on Friday. Haven't decided when I'll be playing, but that's where the fine people will see me next.
Awesome. Thank you as always, Chai. Great pleasure. Of course, we will have Screaming Joypad back with us next month. He is currently moving, but he'll be back with us next month, and he will have Boy, will he have a lot of... I can't wait for the video and to watch the video. He's got a lot to catch up on. It's going to be good times. But definitely check out Screaming Joypad stuff on YouTube. Really good guy, Mike is. Moving right up on the line, Saber, great stuff today as well. I really enjoyed the way you invest Celsig with stuff all the time. It was great to see it. I loved the... I'm going to go get Greta because this is not with the hallway and all that. That was a lot of fun. Really good stuff. What did you think? Where will the fine people see you next?
I'll be streaming over on my own personal channel tomorrow afternoon, quite likely. Don't know what myself either. I've got a stack of games that I need to actually get around to taking a look at. They're piling up. And then tomorrow, I'll be back tomorrow evening, I'll be back here on GOG to celebrate Cyberpunk Week because of the Cyberpunk 2077 trailer. Yep. And if you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it immediately. It's about 2.5 minutes. Excellent. But I'll be streaming one of the classics. I'm going to be looking at Deus Ex for the first time. I haven't played this. Well, not first time, but I haven't played it.
I was going to say, wow, really?
No. For the first time in 16 years.
Okay. Okay. Awesome, man. That's good stuff. That will be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing that stream and lurking a little bit and checking that out. Moving right up, thank you as always. And finally, last but certainly not least, Pyron Jade, wonderful work with Greta as always. I love your investment of the character. Greta is very coherent. I love the way you put together the character. What did you think? Where will people see you next?
People will not see me next for quite some time because I'm still renovating the little house we bought. So I'm very, very busy in real life. Also, still finding the ropes with coordinating the stream team and everything. And yeah, so lots of stuff to do. You will see me in chat here and there and doing stuff. And yeah, that's what's going to happen.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pyron. Thank you to Dark Saber. See Screaming Joypad next week. Oh, yeah.
And of course, handing in a story for Arvenaut Idol.
Yes, and handing in a story for Arvenaut Idol. Remember, Arvenaut Idol 3, coming up on my channel, short story contest. It needs to be 2 pages or fewer. You can contact me through Twitch Whisper or Discord or at Gmail, arvanelleron@gmail.com. Please get those in immediately, like next couple of days, because the deadline is coming soon. And this is to qualify for Arvenaut Idol 3, my short story competition. Do it immediately. With that said, thank you so much to Pyron Jade. Thank you so much to Darksaber2K, and thank you so much to TC Chai. Wonderful work, guys. I will see you soon. Chat, can we get some love for our wonderful players? And I will see you wonderful folks down the line. Bye, everybody. All right. That is going to do it for them, and that is also going to do it for me, because I have got to give way right now to... Dango Kitty, who is going to be hitting you up with little red strings as part of Cyberpunk Week. I'm sorry, Dango, that I'm getting this to you a couple of minutes late. Sorry, we were trying to wrap up as quickly as we possibly can, and I'm actually trying to stop this music that's going on right now. There we go. That's lovely. But I had a good time. I hope you folks did as well. I love D&D, and I love these folks, and I love the way that they perform. It's really fun to see it. So they will be back, of course, next month. I will be back here next week on Pen and Pixels with more BattleTech as I continue that playthrough. And I'll also be on my own channel next week as well. Also, I will be on my channel on Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure which. I'm going to Origins in Columbus, Ohio. So I will be over there, and I will be engaged in some fun with the author panels there. I've been invited as a professional author, so I will be there talking to people about writing and different aspects of the business of writing and different qualities of game mastering as well. And I will also be there doing a reading and selling some books. So if you were in the Columbus, Ohio area, would love to see any or all of you there. I will be there Thursday through Sunday. And as I said, I will be streaming either Friday or Saturday, not sure which one. But that's it for me. I'm going to head out now. Stick around for Dango Kitty, who's going to be doing the power of Little Red Strings. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for the follow on my channel, Gender. And I will catch all of you wonderful people soon. Until the next time we meet, please make sure, as always, that you dance, lift, and soar. Good night, my friends.